Are you looking for a podcast about getting fungal with it?
Then you're in the right place. Welcome to a YMBToAP Interlude.
Whoa!
Oh.
Hello, Kelsey.
Hello, Robert.
How are you?
I'm not infected. That's a good start.
Good. That's very good. You know, the thing we were talking about right before coming on here,
Uh-huh.
one of the ingredients in one of them said cordyceps mushrooms.
No, thank you. I will not be partaking.
So in case you cannot tell, we going over The Last of Us today.
Yes. Talking about the HBO series specifically.
Yes. So Kelsey has finally cranked it out.
Yep.
I would love to know how you did this, because when did I see you? When did we do Mom Night?
You were over at my house last, I don't know, a couple
On the
weeks
18th?
ago. The 18th? Is that right?
Yeah, so it hadn't even been 2 weeks, and you had to do 7
Yeah.
shows. So you did a pretty good clip.
It was really tough to watch more than one of these, like, in close proximity, because they were also emotionally exhausting. You gotta be hydrated to watch this show, I'll tell you what.
You know that I'm kind of off the week by week show type thing. Like I want it done and I want to binge it.
Yes.
I so thoroughly enjoyed watching this week to week.
I can imagine it was a nice experience to watch it and have it, not only to
Yeah.
watch it, but to be able to discuss it with everyone else who was watching it, because this was such a zeitgeist thing. Like, everybody was a part of it.
I kind of forgot how much fun it is to be like, oh man, I can't wait to know what happens next. And then like you can
Yes.
plan like, oh dude, do you want to do this for dinner? Like, do you want to
Yeah.
like make a night of this? Do you want to like get other people involved? Like you can almost make it an event. Whereas
Yeah.
when you binge it, you probably had one meal in that time. You just kind of watched it on a whim, perhaps, or something. It's not going to be like
Yeah.
a special thing, you know?
Yeah. The way that this kind of gripped the nation felt very much to me like Breaking Bad, like watching the final season of that.
Yeah.
It being able to like actually discuss it around the water cooler with coworkers and break down the episodes and who we thought was going to turn on who.
I'm
It
trying
all
to
very
remember
much-
how I watched the end, because I didn't have TV to watch that on.
Yeah.
I definitely streamed that online, but I'm like, how did I get to the last few shows before then? Because I know that I watched the thing live when it ended, but like, how did I
Yeah.
get there? Because I didn't have a way to watch it. What did I do?
I don't
You
know.
I would like to lead with a what did you think you would rate this show before you started it, and then we'll do what you thought having watched it after.
I was concerned because, I mean, I love the story of The Last of Us. It's a story that is near and dear to my heart. I enjoyed it as a story. I was worried because everyone was like, this is a flawless television show. The show can do no wrong. It's perfect and beautiful and gorgeous.
Mhm.
And that's all I was hearing about it. So I was like, it's getting overhyped. I know I'm not going to like it. So I thought I was going to rate it like about a 7 going in.
See, I thought I was going to give it like a 5 or a 4
Okay.
before I went into it. Like, I wasn't going to watch this show
Man, why?
because I didn't want to watch it. It was just a video game adaptation. I'd had an Uncharted not long before.
That's true.
What was I going to think? Like, name me a video game adaptation that you were like, yep, this is everything I wanted. It
Phoenix
didn't
Wright
exist. Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not a thing. It's not a thing that happens. So I wasn't excited because I was like, I could play the game and get what I want better, probably. Right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to watch it. I actually was going to watch the first one just to say, like, I was there for opening day, done with it.
Right.
And then leading into the show, I got excited because of what I'd heard from the creators. People sent me everything about this fucking show.
There was so much press beforehand, like all this Pedro Pascal content, because how could you not make content about this man?
Yeah. Like for me, I didn't care about Bella Ramsey playing it and getting mad about that, right?
People were so... we're going to talk about that more in detail later,
We'll get
but like,
there.
man,
I mean-
fucking casting.
I was not into her because I was like, there's no way she'll be able to capture the character the way that the person who did it originally is going to. Like, I'm going to feel like you're trying to be Ellie.
Right.
I'd already decided that in my mind. I was like, Joel's fine. I don't care. I just didn't care because I was like, I have the game. I'm not asking for this.
Yeah.
So I don't need it. But then I saw an interview, like somebody sent me like, all this stuff. But then I saw this interview with the guy that did Chernobyl, the Craig Mazin
Craig
dude.
Mazin.
Yeah. And he was talking about it, and just the way he spoke about creating this show, I went, maybe he's going to do this right.
Yeah, they picked the right director because Craig Mazin is like, you should watch Chernobyl, dude. Like,
I mean, I've always wanted to, and I was going to, like, I think leading up to this, but then I just didn't get to it. And then this show was so good, I was like, I want to finish this and then just have Chernobyl all to myself later,
He is a good dude. Like, I watched they had a little bit of like behind the scenes stuff. I was hoping for one after every episode because I had heard that that's what they did as it aired. So I watched this on HBO Max, and they only had one little like behind the scenes thing, and it happened at the very end of the series after everything had wrapped. And they had an interview there with Craig, and he was like,
What?
in tears talking about this show and how excited he was. And he was just like, this show like is such a good story. And he was crying. He's like, I just wanted to portray it right.
You didn't get the behind the scenes after every show?
No.
You went through the entire credits?
Yeah.
What
but HBO Max does a
fuck?
thing where it minimizes the credits and is like, you might also like this, or like next episode coming in 13 seconds.
And then you click the show, and then it brings it back.
Maybe I didn't do that.
Yeah, so like when the credits are rolling, you can just click the video again, and then it just full screens it again, and then you just continue to watch it.
Yeah, because I wanted to see the behind the scenes stuff, and I didn't get any of that.
Well, we know that streaming services change things, like how Netflix has gone back into like Stranger Things and changed dialogue and all that kind of stuff. So like,
yeah,
did they do the behind the scenes at the time?
That's
and
kind
then
of what I was
strip it
thinking.
out later?
Yeah,
I'm very sad because those were that's part of what I looked forward to every week was each
man.
behind the scenes for each one.
Yeah, I'd like to go back and watch them all if I can find them.
They're like 2 minutes a piece. It's not like they were huge.
Right.
It wasn't any Talking Dead thing, But man, they were some of my favorite parts. I'm so sad because like that was some of the best shit. Oh, okay. Oh man. I mean, there's nothing in there that I'm not going to tell you now while we discuss it. So. Okay. So you were thinking, yeah, it's going to be solid, a 7. And I was like, unnecessary, a 5 because it's going to exist and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. I can tell you when episode 1 dropped, I went, yep, we're going to be good.
Yep.
Like we are in good hands the rest of the time. Are there things that I guess you could say are wrong with it? Of course. Of
Sure.
course.
I mean, yeah.
But on the whole, this is a solid adaptation.
Yeah.
In
I agree.
every sense. So I guess, what do you want to do? Just get started with it?
Yeah, I think let's just fucking do it.
All right. So episode 1, when you're lost in the darkness. I think it's important to say writers and directors for some of these because it's kind of a big deal. Like for this one, the guy who created The Last of Us, Neil Druckmann, was a writer on the first show.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then Craig Mazin actually directed the first show.
He directed all of them except for one.
No, he wrote all of them.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, because I don't know who these director people are.
Yeah, I don't either. I was thumbing through them. I'm like, I don't recognize these people.
I mean, good for them, man. But like, I wasn't aware. The only one I was excited for was episode 2 because Neil Druckmann got to direct one.
Yeah,
and
that was a good episode.
I'm upset that he didn't direct the one that I really thought he was gonna do, but we'll get there.
Okay.
But he was the sole writer for it, so I was like, cool, we did good. All right, so first episode, man.
Yes.
An hour 20. What a way to open. This was basically a movie.
Yeah, and I didn't know it was that long to start. Like, we were watching this, we were about halfway through, and I was like, holding my pee, wondering
Oh my
if
God.
I should go at the end of the episode. And I was like, we have to pause it. I don't know how much is left in this. And there was still like 45 minutes. I was like, God damn, I'll be back.
What do you want to talk about?
I guess just let's open with how similar to the game this actually is, because I'm so far removed from the game. I played it maybe 10 or more years ago, and you know how media is with me, like it goes in one ear and out the other.
I've played the game like 4 times.
Yeah, so
I'm not huge into it, but I do really love it.
Huge into it. I would, if you play a game 4 times and you're not that big into it, I think you're a super fan, honestly. Like, you're my definition of a super fan because you know this series, this media so deeply and so much.
I mean, the cutscenes, like, for sure.
Yeah.
But like Uncharted, like, to me, Uncharted, I've played
too many times,
30 plus times
Jesus
a piece,
Christ.
man. Like that's why I'm like, do I really like The Last of Us? I played it 4 times. Who gives a shit? You know, it's just a good game. So I've never considered myself that. And then the way people were sending me stuff before this started, I was like, geez, man, I'm like the encyclopedia on this show. Why not?
You are. You're like, when people think about this game, they think about you, because I remember distinctly when you got this game, you were like, come over and watch this cutscene. You sat me down on your futon and you made me watch this fucking cutscene in the beginning where you play through the car accident, and it was heart-wrenching. And
I mean, I will go on record again and a million more times. So this game came out like in June of 2013, right?
Yeah.
I was living at home, and you know me, I play games late at night.
Mm-hmm.
So like I put in the game, it was like midnight or whatever, and I played through the opening. I mean, it had to have been later than that, because I remember distinctly being like, it is 2 a.m. I'm going to go wake up my mom and play the opening again right now.
That cutscene altered your brain chemistry because you inflicted it upon everybody.
This game altered my brain chemistry on how a game can exist. Like, to date, when I think of people that get mad that video games aren't art, my go-to response is Last of Us.
Yeah.
Like, it has always been, give me 20 minutes in the opening of The Last of Us and I'll change your fucking mind. Like, there's no way that that's not one of the greatest things to exist in gamedom.
Yeah.
It's so good. And the more that I look at, like, what they do with this story, I think about how, like, minute the details are that Neil went through to, like, get each point across, every little thing. It is truly crafted beyond compare. It's phenomenal.
I'm excited to hear all your little comparisons because, like I said, I like the way the story was crafted. I love the way it was told. I just enjoyed it kind of as a piece of media coming to me fresh.
Like, if we want to go comparisons, we can hit that so many times. So one of the reasons I wanted to watch it was that interview with Craig. Craig had said, my goal is to tell the same story, but my approach is, if I take a scene, can I alter that scene without it altering the nature of the story? Mm-hmm. So, like, case in point, he said, all right, so the fungus is spread airborne.
Yes.
If I make it not airborne, do we still have the fungus? Is it still spreadable? Does the story still continue the same way? Just because it's spread differently, story stayed the same.
The way that it was spread in this game is so disgusting to me.
Way worse.
Horrible. Awful.
Yeah. Well, they made it so much more real.
Visceral. Yeah.
To me, it felt way more grounded.
Yes. I mean, obviously mushroom spores, breathing in spores, that's a whole thing. But, like, the way that zombies ran at you and just, like, opened their mouth and little mushroom feelers came out, I hated that so much. It is horrible and so gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking
Disgusting.
Feeler things. Let me see.
I hate it. This show was really hard to eat with. Like, I had a really difficult time eating dinner watching this. I was like, we're not gonna snack and watch.
Oh,
we're
man. Every Sunday we got dinner ready and then sat down to watch the show.
I could not. Like, thank God I never ate mushrooms while I was watching this.
For real.
I've literally had a hard time eating mushrooms since watching this show, and I love mushrooms. They're like
Mushrooms
my
are so
favorite
good.
food.
But so like there's that. Another big one was like, okay, if a character does this, can the story still go the same way? If this action must occur, cannot be changed.
Yeah.
And there are so many moments that are literally shot for shot, word for word, taken straight out of the game.
Yeah, and that's fantastic.
And those are the scenes that I lived for in like every single one.
Yeah.
And there's ones like I waited for that I got, ones I waited for that I didn't get. But really, I only wanted to watch the first one because I wanted to see basically the whole let's escape in the car or the truck till that happens. And that's when I would know what I thought of the show.
Yeah, I was like holding my breath the entire time waiting for that because you get to live with Sarah for a long time in the beginning of this show.
Yeah,
like,
good 20 plus minutes.
Yeah, you get a decent amount to like know who this character is, which is nice because you didn't really I don't remember getting that, at least in the actual video game. Like, you kind of start with the car scene, right?
Pretty much. So like where this show starts with the game about 15 minutes in. So you get 15 minutes of just before the fact.
Yes, and you get to see like who Sarah is and how she jokes with her dad, and she just has her own like little personality that you really come to understand.
Yeah. So before we get into that, can I get into this? Because I wanted it to be before every single show. They had these like cold openings.
Mm-hmm.
So like this one opened with like an interview from the 60s where these guys were just
so
talking
cool.
about cordyceps and you know, who knew 60 years later that it could happen, you know? But like it was a world, you know, a view into this world of like people have people have discussions of global warming a long time ago. Right. And then it becomes, you know, more relevant as time goes by. And it was that kind of realism, you know?
Yeah.
Because then the next one had one that was so good, but then they never did it again from 3 forward, which I kind of longed for that again, but it's fine.
I know. The cold open for 2 was probably my favorite, like one of my favorite moments for the series.
Oh, yes. It was so good, dude.
Yeah. The scenes that they like made up for this series they hit hard. They're so good.
Yeah. Yeah. We do the whole, you know, opening with Sarah thing. She gives him the watch. All the same lines, you know. How'd you get the money for this? Drugs. I sell hardcore drugs. And then we go through, you know, the whole thing. It wasn't as intense as I was thinking it might be.
The car scene?
Yeah, the car scene, I was like, it's, you know, it's good. They changed it up like a little bit. What?
Let's talk about before the car scene when, okay, so you get to see like, the old people, like just the people next door. The beginning of it is so gross to me because there's like a scene where he's feeding his wife like some kind of canned food or something. It's like wiping it into her mouth. And they had like a scene earlier on where they had mentioned like, like dented canned food or something is probably how the pandemic started. And I was like, oh, tied it back to that. Because I think maybe Joel mentions that later in the episodes.
So he does tell how it gets started.
Yeah, and I liked that story that he told. And then that's when I made the connection. I was like, that fucking nasty canned food that dude was thumbing into his old wife's mouth.
It was flour.
Yeah.
So he was feeding her biscuits.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That they had made. And then she was like, you want to take home some biscuits? She was like, no, thanks. And that same morning for his birthday, she's like, hey, where's the pancake mix? Which would have had the flour in it. And he goes, I didn't ever buy any. Oh, and I forgot to buy a cake tonight.
God, that's so clever.
They literally missed all the opportunities to have that infected flour.
That's so down to the
crazy.
Details that these people put in there. But so the scene where the old lady is like starting to turn and it's still daytime and she's over there like hanging out with her. And you just see the old woman like in the background, like in a blurry, out of focus lens, and her mouth is just fucking opening way too far.
Yeah.
And the dog is staring at her. I was like, this show is going to be so good.
I definitely thought the show was going to be scarier based on this first one.
Yes. Like this first one, complete horror show, like terrifying. And then you see that old man here dead on the floor. It's just awful.
See, I really wanted it to be more like the game, because I love the game where like she wakes up and then just like Joel runs in and this guy like runs through their sliding glass door to get to him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like she's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Have you been outside?" And she's like, "No." And then this dude just starts like running into the door again and again, and he finally crashes through, and Joel has to shoot him because he doesn't listen.
Fuck.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like waiting for that, but this scene was a bit more.
Yeah, the scene where she finds the old people. I hate that the guy is just bleeding from the neck and he's like, "Help, help." I was like, "No, leave."
Because they changed the nature of, I guess, the virus, so they wanted to like give you that shock value up front.
Yeah.
You know?
This is just disgusting. Like seeing the mushrooms coming out of her mouth for the first time, I was like, this is awful. Like,
I was so confused because I was like, what are we doing? Because it's so unlike the game, you know?
Truly.
But they go into it, and man, Last of Us show zombies way scarier than Last of Us game zombies.
Yes.
For sure. I hate them in the show. And their scariest aspect never got used again. We're going to get into that because that was in episode 2.
Yeah.
Man, what an intense opening to the show.
Yes, for real.
So then they do get in the truck, and here's your little fun fact. They shoot it exactly like it happens in the game.
Oh, cool.
Like, this is the viewpoint and everything that happens in the game.
Yeah, it felt very video game because, like, you're looking around. It just feels... The way that they do the motion in this game feels very joystick, kind of, you know?
Yeah. I remember this part in the game because I was like, dude, I know these road signs.
Yeah.
Because it takes place in Texas. It happens, like, right outside Austin. You know?
Right, and I had forgotten that it actually takes place in Austin. And they did film this in Austin, too. I was like, oh, cool.
Yes, they did. The burning barn thing, super classic image from the game.
Yeah.
I like that they put that in there. And then that's where they start making their differences. Like how they get in the car wreck and stuff. It doesn't really matter how it happens. The truck just needs to get wrecked, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a lot fucking scarier that a fucking plane just careens down behind them.
Scared the shit out of me. Like, we were watching this in our surround sound couch, and I was just like gripping the couch, just like, what is happening?
Yeah, like, that's gnarly, dude.
Yeah, that is so much. Like, watching the plane crash was a lot.
Yeah. So then I'm like, okay, we're getting to like well, plus I didn't do like one of my favorite fucking moments. There's a thing where like he's like running with Sarah in his arms, which that whole image parallel didn't get played up as much in the show as it did in the game. Because like you spend a long time running with her in the opening here, because then you do that with Ellie at the end, and you get like that open and close of the same image thing, you know?
Right.
And it's not a big deal in the show as much. I didn't feel like, because him running with her is so much less. There's a lot less of this.
Yeah.
Because
and I think you just maybe like feel it less too because you're not in control. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, like he pretty much picks her up, and then like he's at the dude already.
Yeah, it's
like,
not more than 3 minutes of a scene.
One. It's like 1 minute.
Wow. Yeah.
Like in the game, so like my favorite part is like you're running up to a movie theater, and there's all these lights, and then this truck is just slowly rolling on fire, and then it like hits it and then just explodes.
Man.
There's a lot more like of little moments of just feeling the mayhem of everybody.
Yeah.
We pretty much only get the mayhem that's happening to everybody in the truck.
Yeah.
So I was just like a little like, all right, that's fine. But then they decided, hey, in the moment that she dies, let's just make it 10 times worse than the game.
So I can't remember how she died in the game. I thought that like she got killed in the car accident, right?
Oh no, she still gets shot here. Like that's the exact same.
Yeah, I didn't remember that part at all.
But this girl in the show, there's way more fear involved. There's way more struggle. Because like in the game, It's just like crying and like this hurts kind of stuff. Like there's no words.
Yeah.
This little girl
Fuck.
says words.
Yeah, it's bad.
And it
Jeez.
fucked me up, dude.
I was sobbing in this scene, like violent sobs. Like this little girl
Yeah.
acts her face off. Like she is such a good little actress. And God, seeing Pedro Pascal just like cradle her bloody body is horrible. It's the worst.
So it made me think of this thing. I don't know if you ever watched this show because it's a war show from back in the day. Do you remember
Probably
Band
not.
of Brothers?
I remember it. I actually watched a couple episodes.
Okay.
Because Richard watched it and I was just passively there.
There was an episode of that show that made me like put the show down for a week. Like I stopped. I couldn't anymore. This guy gets shot and the medics are just trying to like figure out what to do with him, but the act of moving him is what kills him.
Oh, fuck.
And that's how I felt it always happened in the game. Sarah was shot and then Joel picks her up and then that's when she immediately gets quiet. So I feel like his moving of her is what did it.
Awful.
And so that's why it messes me up more, because it's like he almost also helped cause it, you know?
Yeah. I hate this so much. Like watching her grip his arms and scream as he's trying to press down the wound.
It is not like this at all in the game, dude. It's not this hardcore.
Yeah, this is awful.
It's played down, and that was the whole thing. So in the game, I don't want to look at sad Pedro.
No.
Sad Tommy's fine.
So we have the actual show up and we're looking at it here as we talk to you guys.
So in the game, that's how Troy Baker, who played Joel, did it. He did it big cries, big sobs, horrible feelings. And Neil was like, tone it down. He kept telling him to tone it down more and more. And on that last one, it was just there was very little talking. Like Troy broke down completely just into like full blown sobs. And that's the take they used.
Jeez.
You know? And I feel like this one for the show is probably what like Troy was giving originally.
Okay.
It's way bigger, it's way harder, and so I feel like Neil's like, throw the hard shit at him.
Yeah.
Because the game, he did a lot of, like the less is more stuff. But this
God,
is
I
more
hate
is
this.
more.
Yeah, like watching the way he holds her and squeezes her as she's like dead. It sucks.
More is way too much here.
Way too much.
That was at 33 minutes and 47 seconds of the show.
Yeah.
With 50 minutes left. Mm-hmm. Not even halfway through, and you already get like the gut punch.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you do the time jump.
Now, what I do like is that they changed the time frame for for the game to the show. So
it's like 2003 when the apocalypse happens here, right?
Yeah.
And then they jump forward 20 years to current day.
To current day. The game had the outbreak take place current day, so it was 2013. Smartphones were more advanced because they have like less technology for the time that the outbreak happens in the show versus the game.
Okay, interesting.
So you almost get like we're still almost in like an analog flip phone world for the show.
Yeah.
Whereas there were like smartphones in 2013,
Yeah.
iPhones were a thing then.
Early
Like-
iPhones, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a totally different technological starting point.
So in the game, do you jump forward 10 years or 20?
Oh no, you jump 20 years, so it's 2033,
Okay.
So this is 10 years, earlier technically, but like it's
Still
that
in the apocalypse.
it's that technological starting point because now it's 2003. That's why the news got out so much slower. There wasn't Twitter and all the apps that you would hear about this flower sooner.
Yeah, it was all via radio and stuff, which I like how
Yeah.
they did that apocalypse. I think that's more of a realistic thing because now, like, whenever, cabbage gets infected with cholera or whatever, we get a ping to our phone like, hey, don't buy cabbage.
Yeah, you get a tweet about it 10
Yeah.
seconds later, Whereas that was the whole problem in this version of the world. That news is going to travel way slower.
Yeah.
And I think that does help it, Well, okay, because it's airborne in the game. Who cares if you're tweeting about it? It's still going through the air, so it is a much faster spread.
True.
Where this is a slower spread as well.
Yeah.
You get that fucking gut punch opening, and I went, it was perfect.
Yep.
I think I'm going to dig the show.
Yep.
You know? Which is the thing that game adaptations lose out on. Of course, you can change. Why not change some stuff? But there are things that we're here for.
Yeah.
Like, if you omitted that scene, what's the point of this thing now?
Right. I think that that is an important distinction because so many people, like, especially when it comes to like translating comic books to movies or something, there's so many people that get lost and like it wasn't exactly the same. But think about this. Was it better for the storytelling as a vehicle? Like, did it make something more exciting or more realistic or more, I don't know, anything?
Yeah,
anything
you can't,
different.
Like, comics are built on, you got to buy like 3 different books to get the overall story.
Right.
I can't watch 3 movies at the same time while watching the movie,
Yeah.
That's insane. I got to like crack into this real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah. So then it pretty much continues out like the game, same way. But we did get Ellie a little sooner because we just got like her being captive by the fireflies, and they were like seeing if she would turn and stuff.
Yeah. So when we first meet Ellie in the game, where do we see her? Because I was like, I don't remember this whole thing of her being captured by the fireflies.
Yeah, that was not a thing in the game. Like, you pretty much meet her when Marlene takes you to wherever she's like, I got a thing for you to take out. And then you just like meet a little girl.
Okay.
And that's it.
I really enjoyed the dynamic between Ellie and Joel when they first meet, how she like basically tries to stab him and he points a gun at her face. Like, it's so antagonistic and very, like, from where they started to where they go, it's such a journey that they go on together.
Oh yeah. I do need to tell you this. While this show is the same story with minor differences, it also is serving as like a fan answering point at the same time.
Okay.
In the game, we don't know what Tess and Joel are. We don't know anything about what their whole deal is. And then the show adds one scene, one tiny 20-second scene that answers that question after 10 years.
Okay, nice.
Were they an item? Clearly. Right here.
They're canoodling.
That's all you need. They were something. In the game, you weren't sure, were they an item? Were they just business partners? You don't get that distinction.
Okay.
And so the
they
show
do have
just
a very
drops you little things.
Yeah, they do have a very like business relationship, but when we get to episode 2, it kind of develops into like you can see more of what they were just based on his reaction to everything.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this one thing with Ellie. I think it's already happened, but like Bella was fine. I was like, yeah, she's whatever. I didn't give a shit. And
yeah, it's like she's just a good Ellie.
They gave her some food and she kicked the tray at him. And I
Yes.
went, that's my fucking Ellie right there, dude. And I was immediately on board with her.
She like fully slipped into the character. Like she
Oh, yeah.
is Ellie in this show.
Dude, I love this little girl. I
Yeah.
mean, I know Bella Ramsey's not a little girl, but
Right.
like Ellie, this little girl, yeah, dude. She is everything to me, just like in the game.
Yeah, I 100% buy her performance.
Yeah, she is her own thing, and that's whatever. Because, I mean, the kicking of the tray thing is very much stolen from another part of the game. And they just kind of used it earlier, and that was one of my favorite parts of the game, so they just threw it at me up front, and I was like, oh, this little girl's feisty. I like her.
Yeah.
She's good.
So she doesn't know Marlene here, but Marlene knows her as we come to find out.
Man, this show is so tricky because there's a comic book as well.
Okay.
She
Of
knows.
The Last of Us?
Yeah, she knows Marlene.
Okay.
Like, Marlene basically takes her in and then gives her to this, like, kind of orphanage military place or whatever. So, like, she knows her, but they're not like, oh, Ellie, come meet me after your school for today. Let's have dinner, like, they're not on that level.
Okay.
But Marlene's definitely been around her. Ellie knows her,
Okay.
but they're not like crazy friends.
Yeah.
I think she like might know Marlene at this point, but she's not really fully aware of like Firefly stuff because she goes to a military school that teaches you that they're bad. So I mean,
Right.
she does hate them, which
I
we find out
really-
later as well.
I liked in the show how they played up all the different kind of factions, you know? Like there's
Yeah.
the Fedra people who are controlling your town, and there's like the military who's a different thing, and then you have the Fireflies, but then you also have the uprising of the people that hate Fedra, but they also are not Fireflies. And then you just have like regular citizens who are just trying to survive.
Yeah.
It was all very, like, you could see the propaganda that was displayed for them in school, like when you see scenes of Ellie growing up in Fedra school, basically.
Yeah.
All the different things that they tell them and stuff. It's really cool to see kind of the lore of the universe explored a little bit more.
This stuff is kind of in there. I feel like a lot of it, because, Naughty Dog games are not really about the cutscenes. They're about the gameplay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the talking happens in the walking. As you walk from point A to point B, you get an entire lore dump,
Yeah.
But if you didn't play it and you just like watch cutscenes, people are going to miss that. So like if somebody went to YouTube and just watched all the cutscenes, they know a fourth of the story.
Right.
They know like the key moments, Plus, but then me, and I don't do this. Last of Us is also big on notes, reading collectibles and stuff, and I don't read that for shit. I don't care about that stuff. So all that lore that's in this, were in all the letters. I don't read that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it pretty much concludes just about as normal. You get, they go to meet him. Is this the one? Okay, I loved the rate. That's when I knew Ellie was
radio.
also my girl, dude. She's like, yeah, there's this note in here. So, 60s music means it's A-okay. 70s songs meant it was this. She's like, I'm not really sure what the 80s thing is. And he's like, how do you know about that? And she's like, because you just told me. She's like, ha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a huge shot from the game. The, like, building that's, like, crumbling onto another building.
Uh-huh.
That's a huge shot from the game. Like, they focus on that real big, so I like that was, like, the ending shot for the show and stuff.
For episode 1, yeah.
That was a beefy show. That's
Yes.
what I wanted from the last one. And boy, was I disappointed.
I thought we were going to get more in the last episode, too, but I suppose we'll get there, too. So episode 2, let's talk about the cold open.
Oh, man, dude.
Because that's really the only part that I care about in this episode. Like, I mean, the end, of course, too, but...
I mean, all I care about is how they talk about the infected. But,
Yeah.
like, dude, okay, so you get this lady in Indonesia.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess it's like the army, kind of. They
Yeah,
grab her
the,
and go
army...
like, we need you.
Yeah, and they just come into a cafe, and they're like, hey, you got to come with us to a government building. And she's like, I think you have the wrong person. And they're like, you're the mushroom scientist, right? And she's like, yeah?
You're the mushroom lady? We need you.
So, yeah, they come get this woman, and I just think this actress, the way that she emotes throughout this show, like, we don't get to know her. Yeah, we don't get to know her. We don't get to know her for very long, but I feel like I know her,
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can see this person just coming through her.
Oh, yeah.
Very...
Everybody in this show, I buy. Like,
Yes.
Like, I believe in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that could be a product of Craig Mazin because he pulled that out of people in Chernobyl, too. Like, I believe every character on this screen. Like, I know them. But, yeah, watching this scientist, like, see the problem at hand and be like, why are there mushrooms in the DNA? This isn't right. And the way that, like, when at the end of the scene, basically, when you see her and she's like, there's no, like, coming back from this. You have to bomb everything.
Yeah, dude.
And I'd like to be home with my family when you do that. Like,
I
that
think-
cut.
I think there's a part right before where, like, they pour, like, a glass of tea, right?
Uh-huh.
And, oh, look, it's, like, reaching for her.
Yeah,
like
it's
a
fucking
mushroom and
gross.
stuff.
When she pulls the mushroom out of the corpse here, it's so nasty.
I think it's, like, her hand is ever so slightly trembling.
Yeah, it's perfect.
That did it. That did it for me. I was like, man, like, I buy it. Like, she's not in full-blown panic, but I think because she knows how far gone it is already.
Yeah.
This was between this and that 60s, like, opening talk show thing.
Yes.
This was the scariest part of the show to me, were those two opens, because that was the most like, you could have seen that on TV.
Yeah, it's so human.
Somebody could, be drawn in for their expertise and stumble. You're not going to get the superhero that's in the biggest problem day one every time. You're going to get some random person that happens to know a lot about this, and they go, oh shit, I was the first person to get to see this, and I can't do anything about it.
Right. Like, it just reminds me, like, I know we have to make comparisons to COVID because we're living a pandemic right now, but it just reminds me of like the early days of COVID, seeing Twitter and being like, watching people talk about the symptoms and talk about how fast things were spreading. And there was so many people that were like, it's not a thing. I mean, it's fine. We're going to be fine. And then you see like the scientists saying like, you should go home and stay there for 2 weeks.
Like, so I was in the UK when that started, and I remember seeing like the first cases coming into the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I left probably like 1 to 2 days before they would have like shut the airports down, and I would have been stuck in the UK.
Can you imagine?
I can't. That would have I mean, that kind of would have been great. My company paid for me to be there, so they would have had to pay for me to stay there, right?
I guess.
Wouldn't they?
I hope so.
Dude, I really don't know what that would have been like. That would have been,
you would have been fired.
Like, I could have done my work, but like, man, I'm like lost in that now. Anyway. But yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what it is, because I've been thinking about this with some other stuff that's going on in the world right now. How skeptical we are to believe something that we just don't want to believe.
Yeah.
I don't want to believe that COVID could really do it. So like, nobody would believe that. Like, this guy right here, she's telling this dude what is happening, and he's like, no.
It'll be fine.
We'll be fine. It's just one, like, plant. Like, it's fine. Like, we just shut down that factory and we're good. And she's like, no, this is done now.
Yeah.
You've let everybody escape. It's over.
Yeah, I hate that, the way that they break down how it happened, because she's like, basically somebody bit like 4 people, and they're like, well, what happened to the people that she bit? And he's like, well, we got 4 of them, but that other person.
Yeah. I know this is like a very minute thing. I skip intros. Did you ever skip the intro for this one?
We watched the first one and then skipped the rest.
I watched it every time.
Really?
It's the exact same every time, but this is one that I watched every time. But I love the song so much.
Yeah, it's a good song.
And I do love the opening, how like it formed the U.S. when it spreads out and it's like, spreading everywhere else. Oh yeah,
I didn't even notice that.
So like that's like skyscrapers and buildings.
Yeah.
And then as it spreads out here, it forms the United States.
Cool.
Right there, right?
Yeah.
And then it like spreads over from there. I watch this one every time.
That's pretty awesome.
Plus it like had the right amount of like dread and like anticipation to get into the show, you know? And I was watching it, you know, a week apart. So what did I care, you know?
Yeah. I do like at the very end of the opening.
I know.
You just get like
so
the 2 little mushrooms on the hill. It's like, that's them.
I love it so much.
There's our people.
Loved this show every week, man. Then pretty much from this one, they talk about like how the infected stuff works, and it's like a hive mind thing.
Yeah.
Where like there's these like veins.
Yes.
Like, you know, veins of gold or whatever, but there's like veins of like the cordyceps, and when you touch it, it spreads that signal over the hive mind to everyone and says, this location was touched. Pinpoint on this location.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah, that sucks. That's gross. Like,
that is literally the scariest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Like, the earth knows to tell the zombies where you are. Like, that, I hate that. But yeah, you only see it really like the one time where it applies here, right? Where I think Joel steps on one of the cordyceps or whatever, and that's kind of what ignites the entire horde to come for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I guess that is like a bit up here.
Yeah, it's like at the very end.
Well, so they're already coming. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. See, look. Like this one's like grabbing this dude's hand, and it's like, hey, people.
Hey, zombies.
Gotta wake up now. People
Get
are
up.
here. Like, I This to
Ugh.
me, I thought this was going to be like a bigger deal, and it made
Yeah.
it scary because like they're fast in the game, but they
Yeah.
went like World War Z in this game or
They
this
did.
show.
The way that the
Like, where they
zombies
trample
pour
each
out.
other. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like real people, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't
these
like
are
like
Physical actors.
like trample frenzy movement like that.
No.
That's what freaks me out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happens. This is super small, but one of my favorite lines in the game. I felt like they kind of ruined a little bit.
Oh.
And it's this when Tess says that she was bit and she's gonna die.
Uh-huh.
She like pulls open her thing, and in the show she just kind of goes like, "Oops," and it's kind of
Aw.
sad sounding.
Yeah.
But in the game, she like shows it and goes, "Oops," right? And it's like way more like Tess, because Tess is a badass, dude. Tess is fucking the shit. I love
I
Tess.
mean, you see that in this scene where she's dumping gasoline and grenades all over this fucking political city hall or something.
Yeah. I
Watching her, like,
hated what they did to her.
yeah, watching her sacrifice herself here was so much. And this whole scene where she's trying to get this lighter to light for like 2 minutes, I was on my last nerve.
I really thought, because she was bit, they would just be like, she's infected. We don't need to bother her. And they were going to, like,
Yeah.
leave her. But then it got weird, and they did this whole, like, kiss of death thing.
It's just the way the cordyceps work, I think. Like, they go into an orifice, and he's just like, here we go, going right into the mouth with this.
But, I mean, like, he could just bite her, because, like, she's already infected.
I guess.
Like, we don't need to do that. Like, she's going to grow her own. He doesn't need to do that. I thought it
So
was
gross.
real weird. So I thought it was going to be a scarier show, you know?
Yeah.
But then it almost becomes, like, way more faithful to the game and all the rest of them.
Hmm.
But so that's not how it goes out in the game. She gets killed
Yeah.
by Fedra people.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was going to ask if Tess did the whole sacrifice thing here, but
She stayed behind to let them kind of, you know, get like a leg up on leaving.
Yeah.
But it was just, but like they're there when she gets killed, and then they have to kill more of the military dudes.
okay.
So then we get to,
The saddest episode there ever
so
was.
this is long time. The gay episode.
Long cry is what I had watching
Okay.
this one.
I told you previously
Mhm.
what the world was calling it, and I said that I agreed. If you'd like to know, do you agree this is one of the most perfect hours of television that has ever aired on TV?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. It is. Okay. Okay. Oh my God.
Where do we start?
Bill and Frank in the game, not a thing.
Yeah, like you don't even really get to meet Frank, do you?
Nope. You get to see his dead body.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Fuck.
And Bill's a whole person. Like, he's a
Yeah.
whole character that people were so excited to meet.
And they kind of allude to him being gay in the game, but it's not like a thing, right?
No, he's gay.
Okay.
Because I was upset that they didn't do one of my favorite parts that kind of told you he was gay. And then it happened in the very next show.
What does he do?
Nothing that he does. Ellie had stolen some magazines from his house, but it's like play dudes.
Oh. Yeah. And Ellie's like, why are the pages sticky?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like you get the idea because he's like my partner, blah blah blah. But then like
Uh-huh.
he has like these naked dude magazines. Like the dude's gay.
Yeah.
Like
People were so fucking
super
pissed.
cemented in the game.
Yeah.
But just because they didn't go, oh look, he had sex with a dude, there he is doing it.
Yeah.
That's enough to say that he wasn't. The dude was gay. Yes.
Yeah. And people
Get
were
over
so in a tizzy. I know this is HBO. Like if you watched any of Game of Thrones,
Oh,
you
you
saw
can
so
do
many
anything.
titties, so much sex. Like the mildness with which they treated this gay relationship, I was like, it's so perfect. There's like the one line where he's like, I'm no slut. I'm going to stay here for forever now. But
Like
if that's what pissed you off, like watching this tender moment between these two loving men, like, sorry that you don't have a heart. How can you
I
not
want to
love
cry at that right
I
there.
know. Like watching them like look into each other's eyes here in this soft, like sunlit moment is so sweet and beautiful.
No, okay.
How could you not love this?
I don't have a predisposition for Nick Offerman. I didn't
Okay.
watch Parks and Rec and stuff, right?
Okay, yeah. In my mind, Nick Offerman can do no fucking wrong.
Because, like, to me, I feel like a lot of people were just like, that's not... Man, what's his
That's
name
not
on
Ron
that show?
Swanson.
Yeah, like the extent of him for me is, like, those kind of memes, and then him on The Good Place where he was just Ron Swanson,
Yes.
right? Like, that's all he is for me,
Yeah.
you know? And I feel like a lot of people that just hold to the Ron Swanson, manly man, whatever thing...
Well, here's the thing.
refuse
Ron
to
Swanson...
accept this.
Ron Swanson would accept this is the thing. Like, Ron Swanson's a genuine dude.
Exactly. But they're like, no, Ron Swanson's a manly man.
He's a man's man. He likes dark-haired women and breakfast foods.
Yeah, so they just like couldn't, they just could not with
Yeah.
this, right?
Fuck people, man. This is the most beautiful episode of TV I've seen in a very long time.
Dude, you want to know why it's the most beautiful? Ready?
Tell me.
You ready for it? I'm going to fucking find it, and you're going to be like, yep, that was it. It's the fucking strawberries, dude.
Oh my god, the strawberries.
Dude, the strawberries. The strawberries, my dude. This is the moment that if you weren't okay with it, you should have been okay with it.
Yeah.
If you couldn't get past the love before, just due to the physicality of it, this is the emotional side.
Right.
Dude, the
Like,
whole
he's
like
been...
he fucking said, I wasn't scared until you came along.
Fuck that. I busted up sobbing.
Dude, that is a quote for the ages.
I know. I hate this episode.
I
Much.
love it so much. Now that
Yeah.
I'm like going over it with you like right now, I really want to watch it. So I've seen all of these a whole one time when
Yeah.
they aired. I've never seen one a second time.
The way they hold each other while they're eating these strawberries.
I have been dying to watch this one again. But like we wanted to just get through the show and all that kind of stuff, right? But like
Yeah.
talking about it, I am so ready to revisit this episode. It is so... This is what I was talking about, like masterclass, just everything. Everything
Yeah.
about this is so perfect.
I know.
Dude,
God.
it's so good.
And the way they kept alluding, like, bandits are going to come and, like, get through your fence, and one day it's all going to go down. Like, the way that it goes down here, I was so...
So, this is when I thought, this is what I thought the difference was.
Uh-huh.
Because, okay, I'd called the entire season before the show aired, right?
Uh-huh.
I knew where it was going to end, everything. This show subverted every single expectation I threw at it.
Wow.
Every fucking one. Because episode 6, I thought was going to be the finale.
Shit, okay.
I didn't think we'd get through the whole story. I thought that's how they would get to, like, a season 2. Like, well, what happened? Like, he met Tommy. Where do we go? You know?
Yeah.
And I thought we had enough story to do another season from there. But they did the whole thing. So this is where I thought the big twist was, because we do this whole bandits are coming, right?
Uh-huh.
And
then
Bill
he gets shot. Yes, I was like, God damn it, and I'm going to have to watch Bill die. It's going to suck.
So I went, that's our twist. We still get one of these survivors, but we get Frank that Joel meets.
Yeah.
Joel's going to hang around with Frank. Bill's going to be the one that died. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. And then they did neither of those. Neither of those things happened.
This part is what really got to me when he's like laying him down on the table and he's trying to like dress his wound and make sure he stays alive. And Bill is just telling him like how to survive without him. Like, this is where I keep all the stuff. This is what you're supposed to do. I hate it.
Don't you cry, Kelsey.
I hate when people get to the end of their life and they're like,
oh, like that TikTok you sent to somebody today?
Oh no, which one?
About Animal Crossing?
Oh, God.
Because that fucked me up. Taylor told me about it. That's exactly this, yeah.
Oh, and you're trying to tell them, like, I made a list for you. Like, this is all the stuff, you know? And it sucks. I hate this.
I fully believe Bill goes and we just had, like, an older Frank.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this. I'm not gonna comb back and try to find it just to show you, but like when they're having the dinner together, not the dinner, but like the brunch, Joel and Tess come and stuff.
Yeah.
Frank is wearing the shirt that Joel wears in the game the whole time, and that's the shirt that Joel takes that then gives him the look, his iconic look, the rest of the show. It's Frank's fucking shirt, dude.
I didn't know that.
Like, we turned Frank from somebody we literally didn't know, barely cared about, into integral to Joel's look for this entire rest of the show.
Yeah.
Like, Frank is almost one of the most important people in the show.
Ugh, he carried him with him.
Like, isn't that... like, that is such a subversion of what you expect. Like, he was nothing to the game, and he is everything in the show.
And speaking of subversion, we cut from that scene where he's dying on the table immediately to seeing somebody in a wheelchair outside. And I was like, oh my God, he lived, he's paralyzed. But no, Frank is the one who's paralyzed. And Bill's fine. He's fucking fine. And they've been taking care of each other for 10 years in the apocalypse. And I hate it.
And I
so
love
much.
his art. Like, I just hated how you can see the art deteriorating and stuff. Just
I know. It's so
all the
sad.
little things, man.
What does he have? Like, did they come out and say?
No, I don't know.
Maybe like Parkinson's or something.
I don't know. He's not shaky enough for that. Cause like they eat dinner and stuff, and he's pretty much fine eating his soup and stuff. It's probably just some like degenerative brain thing where he's just losing like motor function.
Yeah.
See,
But
look, he is
obviously-
way too steady for Parkinson's.
He obviously doesn't have like long left though, and he knows it too. Like he knows he is terminally ill, and he's coming to like fucking slow end.
But also, what is like almost not terminally ill in the apocalypse where there's no doctors to go help you out? You know,
for real.
I feel
And
like
they have
you
all
could
these
get
pills from
bad
somewhere.
pneumonia, and that's
Yeah.
terminally ill in this time.
I want to know what pills he's taking. Like, where did you get those, and what do they do? How do you know what they do?
Because Bill's a survivalist. He's too smart, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's too smart.
I've wet my shirt. I did not expect to cry so much recounting this, but like, my God, this episode.
It's... God, man. We
And the
were,
way they
we were
ended,
dying,
I was
man.
so... every single thing they do is like one of the tropes that gets me, because he's like, this is going to be my last day. Let's make it a perfect day.
What a hard request, but like...
I know.
As the loved one, how can you not though?
How can you not want to give that to your partner?
Because I mean that's the thing. Frank has already gone through the stages.
Yeah.
He's at acceptance when he asks for this day. He's already grieved it. He's already done it. Bill's not there, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to spring that on somebody that's not even in the steps yet.
How can the actors act this? I would be crying the whole time.
My Nick Offerman love skyrocketed with this episode, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do their day. They go out for a walk. I just love, like, this show does how you're supposed to do visual media. It's show, don't tell.
Yeah.
We didn't need them to walk around and go, hey, look, that's the hole I found you in the first place. All they do is show it, and you flood with all those memories already.
Yeah. And then they get
married, which I was getting like real big like Garnet vibes and stuff, you know?
Yes.
Like when that whole thing went down. So yeah, they do that, and then I don't know if you recognize that, but when they do the dinner, he comes out and cooks him the exact
same
meal. And he turns the plate the exact same.
Yes.
It's so perfect. Dude, like it's
And
so
I knew what he was doing when he brought that bottle of wine out too. Like I called it.
I did not.
Oh my God.
That truly got me.
So yeah, he gives him the bottle of wine and he crushes up 1 billion pills and puts them in there.
Yeah.
And then it goes to sleep with him.
Yeah, so you find out that they both did it, and he was like, I'm not gonna live without you.
God.
Now, I kind of wanted this.
A scene of them cuddling in bed together, like the people in the Titanic.
Kind of.
I wanted it too, but
Like,
I'm glad they didn't because.
Well, I mean the end, because like they've come. We don't know how long this has occurred before Joel shows up again.
I know, yeah.
And they went into the window where they're laying.
Yes.
So I fully expected to see bodies. But
Yeah.
this is literally the last you see them is them walking into the room together.
And I think that's perfect because that's what
It is.
Like,
It is.
They deserve a private moment to die in.
Yes, they do.
I despised this episode because it made me dehydrated. Like, it honestly perfect 10 out of 10, 11 out of 12 out of 10. I just can't with it. Like, it is so
Bill is the fucking
profoundly sad.
I just love the note how she's like, I opened a window to keep the smell out for you.
Yeah.
Like, Bill thinks of literally everything. He's the
Truly.
best.
Yeah.
This is so not the Bill that's in the game, because Bill in the game is a dick.
Really?
But he's lost Frank at that point, so like,
Yeah.
he probably would be. You know, we get a happy Bill this whole time.
Yeah. The part that got me is like he was talking about that he had a purpose in his life because he had somebody to care for 10 years. I'm crying so much. It made me so sad.
This is like way fresher for you too, because I watched
God.
this. God, like a month ago. You know,
Just
it's
like the concept of
minute.
people caring for each other so deeply throughout such a horrible time.
Isn't it
got
nuts
me.
that we get that emotional about a basic human thing that we should be doing all the time?
I know.
But that's how little of it is out in the world, you know?
Yeah, this is just like a pure love story.
Did you catch up on
Fuck.
this reference at all? So
On what?
like she's reading the note and like you put a laugh in there. That's like the Nick Offerman like laugh apparently.
It is, yeah, he does laugh like that.
Yeah. Cuz see
Oh,
that
God.
that meant nothing for me cuz like I said I didn't ever watch him. So I don't know about that, you know.
I'm really glad you guys aren't seeing us right now because I'm so tearful. Ugh.
So then we get changed. So yeah, this kind of changed when you get a bloater for the first time, which is like the big zombie dude. That happens with Bill while you're trying to get a battery for the truck.
I
So
don't remember
see-
the bloater.
Huh?
I don't remember the bloater. Is he in here?
No.
In this scene?
That's the thing. That happens in the game.
Oh.
You
Oh,
get the
okay.
bloater for the first time with Bill. And that's a, you know, subversion thing. Like, you don't get this guy the first time, even though you didn't go on the adventure to hunt for the battery for the truck. It ends with you in a truck. Story's no different, so we could change it.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
And this
you're
is
right.
one of the things I was like, this is one of those brilliant... Okay, I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
This episode is what proves that theory of what can we... We took a character that wasn't in it, made him a full thing, and literally just lived lives with them. Joel and Ellie in the same spot, didn't even have to involve them.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant. Dude, I am like in love with Craig Mason, kind of, man. He's so brilliant.
Yeah.
Him and Neil are a dangerous combination, man. Oh, dude, and I screamed because it's their two looks. Like, this is the look that she has in the game.
Yes. She's wearing that little pink shirt with the gray under sleeves.
And then there's Joel, looking beautiful, looking handsome. We end it with this thing. So,
I like that she doesn't know what a car is, and she's like, "Oh, seatbelt, what?"
yeah. This is where I thought we'd see him, right? But this is
When you zoom back in on the window.
a direct reference from the game because that's the opening title screen for the games.
Oh, cool.
Last of Us title screen. Yeah, like that's the title screen for the game.
Wow.
So it's just another reference.
Yeah, quite similar.
Yeah, so you kind of get that like, hey, here's a nod, you know.
Mhm.
It's not a lot, but that's what this show is all about. It's all about like, if you're in the sauce, you're going to notice every tiny thing we sprinkled in. But if you
Yeah.
don't, who cares? the story's still just as fine, you know?
Yeah, like they crafted a really good story just at its bare bones. Like this is a fantastic piece of media, but they just like sprinkled in little like loving things for the fans.
Yeah. These next two, not gonna go like hard in until like the
Yeah.
next one. So
Yep.
episode 4 was super short.
It was, and it wasn't really like there wasn't a lot to it, in my opinion.
Yeah. So,
You see Ellie's first kill.
oh yeah, there's that thing. So, actually, speaking of, this show is doing everything in its power to get you ready for for season 2.
Yeah.
There are so many nods to Last of Us Part 2, the game, in this, because that's why a lot of people didn't like to. They were like, "Oh, this is out of left field. We weren't ready for any of this." This show has it all in there. They're
Just little
getting you ready
breadcrumbs.
so that when you say that, you can't go back to part 1 and say, I didn't get that feeling. I wasn't made aware of this." It's all laid out. You're ready. Ellie is way more violent
Yeah, she is very
In-
violent.
in this show than in the game. There's like a scene where she sees like a freaker like just buried under some rubble, and she's just getting real close to him and just like cuts him open real slow and it's like plays
So
with him
gross,
and then like
yeah.
stabs him, you know.
Can
That's
we
like your
also talk
first
about
little
how the
hint.
like the dry mushrooms inside these corpses that fucked me up when she like cuts it open and like cotton spores come out like a dandelion.
Yeah.
So gross.
This one had kind of like a slow go. Like the first 20 minutes, it's just them kind of like surviving and getting close kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they changed the location, which again, the same things happen, so who cares that it's in a different part of the world, you know?
Yeah.
This happened in Pittsburgh in the game, it happens in Kansas City in the show.
Yeah.
Big whoop. They just kind of streamlined their, like, map trajectory of where they were going. But, so, Rose from 2.5 Men, I don't know her.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I keep calling her Rose, and people are like, who? And I'm like, Rose, 2.5 Men, crazy girl,
She
I love
plays
her.
like kind of the same character in here, but like Rose with a gun, and she
Yeah.
can say fuck now.
She's not in the game at all. That is
Okay.
a wholly new original character. Solely to push these 2 episodes forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so the song that they're playing in the truck is the exact song from the game.
Nice.
Gave me the feels, you know. They do the whole magazine thing where it's like, oh, these pages are stuck together. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted from the Bill moment. You gave me so much more. Then, like, I wanted this thing, so when they're in this shoot-off, when the truck gets wrecked, Joel, like, stabs a dude into, like, a giant shard of glass from, like, a freezer
Ugh.
door somewhere. And I was like, they gonna put that in this show? They did not.
Okay.
They kind of like, oh, so then they introduce a whole new element to Joel in this whole, like, he's deaf in one ear thing.
Oh yeah.
That's not in the game at all.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, because that's why Ellie gets a kill here in the first place, was he didn't hear this guy coming up behind him because it was on his right side or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ellie gets her first kill, which,
This is intense.
Man.
Like watching this guy suffer and be like, we can talk. My name is whatever. What's your name?
so that's my whole, like, Ellie's first kill in the game, I love it, and I was expecting it here, and I didn't get it, but there's, like I was saying, they're really getting you ready for next time. Next season with Ellie, you know, like, we're getting ready for that shit, so we're changing how this is working.
Yeah.
Because really, Joel's, like, drowning, and she, like, shoots a guy off of him, and then he doesn't care, right?
Okay.
And then that's when they start to get their trust, because there's a gun fight right after that where he gives her a gun and says, cover me, because I'm going to trust you. And she's all like, you're welcome. So she sees that that's his thank you, right?
Yeah.
Nothing like that happens in the show here. That's the thing, like, I kind of missed out on, but it's fine. It's whatever. But yeah, dude, this is, because it's like right in the spine.
Yeah.
So she gets her first kill. I half thought this dude was, like, faking it. It's hard to trust people in this world. I mean, they did just, like, do a whole pretend, like, I'm hurt, we're not going to steal your truck thing, you know? But so, yeah, she gets her first kill. She gets pretty fucked up. And then there's the whole thing with Rose, all the stuff she's got going on. it's all to give you like a parallel with Sam and Henry later. Like I see the point, but
Yeah.
like I wasn't that invested in her stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
It
So,
just felt like a means to an end.
right. So let's talk about Sam and Henry, because that episode, I remember. So after watching 3, we
Well, hang on.
took some.
There's only one good thing about this one.
Okay.
When she tells him that joke about diarrhea
Oh my God.
and it runs in your jeans and he
Yeah.
laughs, I was like, oh, there's our bonding moment.
That was a really sweet moment.
I genuinely started to laugh with them
I
at
did
how
too.
he
It's
laughed.
contagious. Yeah.
Oh, he
I hope
laughed
that they-
so good.
I hope that in filming, like, they didn't tell him the puns that were coming so that he could be surprised, because I think that would be perfect.
And do you know what's good? All the puns that she reads from this are the ones she reads in the game.
Oh, nice.
So like she like finds a joke book and it's all like optional dialogue that you find and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But she can read you all these jokes, and almost every joke from the game is read in the show.
Cool.
So I was like, oh, it's the meteor one. Oh, it's funny, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the best part of this one. I loved this ending because I thought it was so funny. And then I think the Super Bowl was happening, so they actually moved this episode up to Friday, and it came out early.
Okay.
I thought it was just because episode 4 was kind of a whatever episode that they were like, all right, here's the big finale.
Yeah. It was more of a bridge episode, really. But yeah, so you get to see Henry and Sam's story. And they were really, like, fun to watch. I didn't remember them at all from the game, but when we started this episode, Richard, like, when we saw them at the end of the last episode, because Joel wakes up and they're pointing a gun at them, Richard was like, okay, you need to know this. Next episode is going to be sad. And I know we just lived through episode 3, so if you want to take a break for a little bit, we can do that.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no, we can watch it. I don't think anything can be sadder than episode 3.
Oh, Kelsey.
Boy, howdy. This was also horrible.
This is reason number 2 of what I think about in The Last of Us game. Like,
Yeah.
when this happened in the game, I was shooken, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I was fucked.
It's horrible because it's a moment where you get to really see Ellie trying to, like, she's a child. Like, you get to see her be a kid because she gets to hang out with a kid. And it's just, like, really sweet to watch Ellie and Sam together, like, just reading comic books and doing the whole, like, endure and survive thing.
So I was hoping this wasn't in the show, and it wasn't, thank God. But they do nod to this. So this whole, like, sewer area that you get to
Uh-huh.
has one of the most gripping side stories that you read through the notes in the entire game.
Ooh.
There's like a whole colony of people that like moved into the sewers, and there's all this stuff about them recruiting people and doing all this stuff. And you read like how they got there, all this stuff, and then one of the last notes you find is this playroom that they wind up living in for the show for the the time being. But in the game, you come into the room and there's a note from this lady. It says, "They're outside. I don't know when the people will be back. I don't think we can make it in here. I don't know what I'm going to do with all the children."
Oh, my God.
And there's just a sheet over 10 children's bodies that she had to like
fuck.
execute all 10, and then she killed herself.
That's
it's
a lot.
Big. And I was like, I wonder if we bring that up in this. And they didn't, but there's a picture on the wall of the 2 guys from the note story.
Okay.
So, like, there's a nod that it's like, hey, if you remember these guys, shit went down here. You know?
Fuck.
There's that. Okay. I don't know if you care about this. Those 2 guys right there.
Okay.
Those are the 2 guys from the note.
No, it says our protectors.
Yeah, well, because they go to, like, find supplies or something, and they never come back, and that's why their area gets infested, and then this lady has to wind up killing all the kids in there.
Okay. It's so cool that they like, bothered to put this in the show.
Like, that's all you get from it, but if you remember those notes, you know Ish, because that's such a unique name. I was like, I've never heard that name, you know? What do you think about Sam being deaf?
Was he deaf in the game?
Nope. Not at all.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't
Not at
remember
all.
them at all in the game, so I was like, taking it as it came. But I thought it was an interesting,
This was another. Can we change this? Does it change anything? So basically, what it does is make Henry all the more
important.
Yeah, like he's just that additional layer of protection and responsibility that he has to have for Sam because
Yeah.
he can't even hear anything or talk to you. Like it's just another responsibility point or this is hard to take care of thing.
Yeah. Imagine being deaf in the apocalypse and not being able to hear shit coming up on you.
For real. I love it. Okay, so this kid is actually deaf.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, not good that he's deaf, but like good for the representation.
That was in the behind the scenes thing. Like they pulled him out and I was like, oh, cool. Everybody on set learned sign language because of the kid. Like they all got to take free lessons and stuff and they all could do it pretty well with him. And he was like a huge hit on the set with everybody. Everybody loved this kid. He's fucking adorable. I love this kid.
He's so cute and sweet.
This was because me and Taylor of course discussed the show at length every time it aired. This is one of the moments that is sad for me because like you just said, this is the only time she ever got to be a kid.
Yeah.
And if you watch this show, this is the only time she was ever happy.
I know. Like she's having such a good time just like kicking a soccer ball around with this kid.
Yeah. This is the only time this happens for her. Ever.
Yeah.
It's never this good again. Or ever was.
Yeah.
So then there's just the whole parallel here with Rose. And I get it. It's she had a brother, but he died. And now Henry's got his brother, but he got to live and hers is dying. So
yeah, well, he killed her brother. So that was the whole gonna kill him as revenge type of thing. And I did like the depth of her character when she was like, I know my brother would tell me to like forgive and forget and move on with my life, but I just can't.
But I'm not as good as him.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy right here, that's Tommy from the games.
Oh, wow. Okay. So they do that a few times.
Everybody from the games roughly is pretty much in here at some point.
Cool.
First up was Tommy. Like he spoke and I was like, that fucking Tommy? And yeah, that's him. So yeah, then we get this, and then we get to like one of my all-time favorite moments. Which of course,
God.
They changed how it works, but there's like a whole sniper session, right?
Yes, and Richard was like on the edge of a seat. He's like, I remember playing this part in the game, and it was horrible.
Oh yeah, it's hardcore.
Yeah.
This is way different. It didn't go quite like it does, but this is also where they give us they introduce us to the fucking bloater for the first time. Okay.
And that fucking crowd of zombies
That's
pouring
all
out of the
people.
hole. I hate that. It's so messed up that they get these actors to run like CGI zombies. Like
they show the behind the scenes. Like you see them in the hole and then they go action and you just watch them like just fucking go nuts.
What is crew safety like on the show?
I mean, I don't know. Lots of people.
Oh my God. Just watching them fall over each other and
people, dude.
it looks like just so many people, like a ridiculously impossible amount of people coming out of this hole.
Oh yeah.
Like
now,
surely this is all CGI. No.
I imagine, probably maybe half the crowd might be CGI or something. But I know that there's a lot of actual people there. There were at least 50 people.
That's nuts. But man, watching this scene where Joel is like playing protector here for Ellie as she's going through this crowd, I was imagining just being in that because it feels very video game because you are Joel in this scene, right? Like you're
you're doing
for
the
Ellie.
Yeah.
And
well, you're doing the sniping for everybody because
yeah,
Sam and Henry are running around, and then you actually have to snipe the trucks that are coming down. They're throwing Molotovs, and you have to wait for a guy to pop out the top and shoot him so that the Molotov falls in the truck, or else you fail the mission.
That is so much to keep track of.
It is intricate. It sucks. And then you get this guy, and guess what? Practical.
Ugh. I love that they did practical effects for all the zombies in this show. Like
that's a dude in a suit.
so good. The way that they move, like you can tell with the practical effects. Like it
Yeah.
just reads better, you know?
Like, it's a stunt man. They got like a strong stunt man dude, you know, being this giant
So
suit.
cool.
And I love that when they killed the guy that plays Tommy, they do the death animation from the game. Every time you
Oh,
get
do they?
killed by a bloater, he just rips the top of your jaw off.
Ugh.
And that's what he does to Tommy right there.
Yuck.
Just fucking rip the top of his head off. Yeah.
Oh.
Then you get
But seeing
this little
Ellie-
girl.
Yeah, seeing Ellie climb into this car for safety, and then a fucking zombie climbs in there with her, and she's like this 7-year-old gymnast-looking girl.
Look at her go!
I know.
Like,
I can't believe like some of the extras they have in this show. Like they go ham.
I hate it and I love it.
Yes.
So then, you know, they get out of here. Thankfully, Rose gets got by a gymnast girl, which I was like,
Yeah.
fitting ending, good shit. You know? Yeah, fucking tear her up because I didn't like her. Hated her. I was like, that's a good, like, you know how, like, in, you know, good old action movies, you had the one bad guy, and you couldn't wait to see how they would die. And
Yes.
it felt so good when they did, you know?
Yes, that's exactly how this felt.
That's how it felt with her. I feel like I'm saying this a lot. I think I need to just say, I think the show took everything from the game and made it worse. So, in the game, Sam picks up, like, a toy robot. And Henry's like, what did I fucking say? Only necessities. And he's like, but I got a bunch of room in my bag. And he's like, no, put it back.
Yeah.
And as you walk away, you can catch it in the remake that they did for part 1. Ellie's just hovering around that robot, and when you like turn your back to leave, if you turn back real quick, she picks it up and puts it in her bag.
That's so cool.
So she grabs it, and then in this scene, what happens is she goes, "Hey, I took the robot, you know, what Daddy don't know, don't hurt him," kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when he starts asking the questions like, are you ever scared by stuff? And then she's like, scorpions are creepy.
Yes.
And then it starts to get real. I'm scared of being alone and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking. Just this scene where they're like bonding over being children in the apocalypse, you know, being like scared. It's normal to be scared. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then it just gets like too real.
But see, again, the difference, he doesn't tell her what's up in the game.
Oh, he doesn't? Okay.
No, none of this happens in the game. She
Fuck.
goes, I'm scared of being alone. And he's like, do you think they're like still people in there? Because my brother says that they're gone, like they're not really there. And she's like, I think so. Like maybe. But who knows? And he's like, okay. So then she goes to bed and leaves. And then he's like alone in the room and he looks at his leg and you go, ah, fuck.
Okay,
Right?
so you do get to see that he's been bit like as the
Yeah.
camera person.
But then
Ellie
the
doesn't
show
know.
decides to have her go, I can heal you, and
Yeah.
try to fucking heal him. And that ruined me.
Yeah, that was hard to watch. She was like, "Oh, I'm magic. Like, let me fix you. My blood is medicine."
I can't.
And it
like,
was such like a childlike hope that she had for him right there, you know? Like just watching her think like, this is my moment. I can help. I can do this for this kid.
But
It's going to be
see,
okay.
Do you know what this is? Pure setup for part 2.
Okay.
We don't get in part 1 the game how desperately her life hinges on her being the cure.
Yeah.
That's the only purpose she has in life. We fully get that in this show. That is
Yeah.
kind of shown at length many times. This is a huge one. Like, the fact that she tried to cure somebody and it didn't work, her hope is only that the Fireflies will be able to use her to fix the world.
Dude, when Sam here is like, stay awake with me, there's a Batman comic. I know so little about Batman, but
Okay.
there's a Batman comic where there's like a young girl who's about to die or something. And I don't know the specifics around it, but they're like together on a swing set. And she's like, will you just like stay with me until it happens? And he does.
Yeah. I
That's
think I've
exactly
heard
what
about
this
that one.
reminded me of. Like, it just,
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking.
Batman's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about him, but he's like the one DC thing I think I could get into. There's some neat shit there.
So then we transition immediately into the scene.
I had
And-
the highest of hopes, dude.
I know. I was like, maybe he'll be fine. But no. It was rough. Like,
well, because see, here's why. In the game, she wakes up and Henry's like, hey, I let you guys sleep in. We had a hard day yesterday. And she's like, damn, that food smells good. And he's like, why don't you go wake him up and we'll eat? And she's like, okay. And when she walks in there, he's like he's like standing there twitching and doing the whole thing. So when he was still, I was like, yeah, dude, we did it. We did it.
the blood is medicine.
And then fucking ruined it.
God, this scene here, it's like 30 seconds, but it feels like 6 years when Sam tackles Ellie and they like bust into the other room and Henry is just standing there with the gun. The way he like shoots at Joel's feet to get him to not interfere. It is so much. Like, my heart rate was through the roof watching this.
This is another answer the question for you moment that the game had all this time, that people always questioned this wording and we never really knew what was up.
Okay.
Henry shoots his brother and then he keeps going, it's your fault. It's your fault. And so you think because he's pointing it at Joel, he's saying, this is Joel's fault. But there's been tons of theories that he's purely out of his mind talking to himself. This is your fault, Henry, that your brother did, that you didn't save him and all this stuff. And he basically says it in the show, kind of confirming, he was talking to himself in that moment.
Okay.
Because he straight up says, I did this or something here. Like, he kind of doesn't leave it up to interpretation. He gives you that clarity.
This moment is so scary.
It's just like this in the game.
Oh, God.
See,
it
right there.
Feels like years.
He says, what did I do?
Yeah.
He says, what did you do in the game? Like, what did you do? Like, it's to Joel, but it's what did you do? Like, he's almost a third person talking to himself in that way. But now it's, what did I do? So now you know, this is really directed back into himself.
Yeah.
This is purely, he's thinking about himself. And what did I do? I failed. I did all this shit now. Because I always thought he was mad at Joel. And then I read that theory and was like, really?
The sound that comes out of Ellie when he shoots himself.
It's too much.
Too much. I cried hard. Like,
oh, yeah.
I was crying for the situation at hand, but like watching Ellie emote, like watching Bella Ramsey live that character's moment, like that hit.
That is a moment that I also can never forget from playing the game the first time. When that happened, because it was just that fast, and you were like, "Nah, dude, we can be fine. We'll be fine. We'll still be partners. We'll go on this whole thing together." Like, that's going through my mind in a mere matter of seconds, you know. And then he pulls it so much faster on himself in the game that you were literally just in shock. There's nothing you can even think about it, right?
Yeah.
And then the show ruins it more by fucking making her put that little notepad down that just says, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, fuck this.
Off.
I hate this.
Episode over.
Done.
Hate that one. So then we go to episode 6, which is Kin, which is where I literally thought the show would end. I thought this would be where the season would end, but like through 9 episodes. Like, I thought by the 9th one we would get here. But boy, we really pick up the pace in these last couple.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, this one doesn't have a whole lot going on. You just kind of see them like going around the wilderness, and they kind of, you know, show that Ellie is a capable person. She's taking care of stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. It's kind of foreshadowing for what's to come. But, then you just get to the settlement, and they meet up again with old Tommy.
Good old brother Tommy.
And watching the reunion was really sweet.
That was good. They're so... Okay, that was the trailer for part 2. Like, this whole dance hall was the trailer for part 2.
I do remember that, when Ellie gets called a slur.
This is not in the first game at all. So, boom, we're already saying part 2. Be aware that's real. Yeah. That shit is in our minds right now. Dina is in this, who Ellie gets with in part 2.
Right, I thought that was her.
People are iffy, but like, come on. That's exactly what that was supposed to be.
The way people eat in this show drives me nuts. I'm afraid they're going to stab themselves in the teeth with these forks.
They're hungry, man.
God, they're just like ravenous.
Oh, come on. That is
Yeah, that's
so
definitely
Dina.
Dina.
Like, look at this girl. What?
What?
Look at that
Yeah,
girl.
that's 1,000% Dina.
There's a beautiful young Dina right there. I was like, uh-oh, part 2. Getting ready. Oh, so the scene where she finds out about Sarah, I was really into, where she's like, oh, I'm sorry about your 2 kids. And she's like, no, one was mine. One was his niece or whatever.
Yeah.
And they find out, I was like, that's a cool way to do it. This was big because Joel, like, cries.
Has a panic attack or something, right?
Yeah, that's not in the games. Like, he has this whole, like, scared thing, and he's like, I fail people. I'm so bad. And he, like, cries and stuff. That is so not in the game.
Okay.
He is just a bad human that doesn't want to deal with this anymore.
Mm.
Joel's a piece of shit, guys. I'm sorry. Like, he is.
I don't remember him being like a dirtbag.
But he's my piece of shit. I love him.
I love it when Ellie's like reading this diary and she's like, is this what people had to worry about? Like boys' clothes?
Okay. So she doesn't run away, right? Because in the game, yeah, okay. They're just staying in like houses and she reads this.
Yeah.
She like runs away from the settlement after she finds out that he's trying to give her to Tommy. And so you got to go chase her down, and then she finds this random house with this book in it.
Okay.
And this is one of my scenes. I love this scene. It's what I think of very fondly. It hits me so hard every time. It's that whole thing. Is that all they had to worry about? Boys, school,
Yeah.
what skirt goes with what top. And then you get, like, this whole scene is, like, frame for frame the way it is in the game. I wanted this to be so good, and it was so perfect. I was so grabbed again by this. I love this moment. It's the biggest Joel dirtbag moment. Like, it's one of the hardest moments for him, where she goes through this whole thing about, don't leave me behind. Everybody has. You're the only one that hasn't. So if you tell me I'm going to be safe with someone else, no, I'm not. I'm just going to be more scared. And then he goes, you're right. You're not my daughter. That shit hits hard.
Yeah.
That is a huge fucking moment. I love this scene so much.
It is a very good emotional scene.
Now,
Just, like, it pulls you in.
The game did it so much better, though.
Oh, really?
Troy's Joel doing it is mean. Pedro, I'm still like, you like me. Don't. You still like me. It's fine.
I can't imagine a scene in which Pedro Pascal is just a mean dude that I don't like.
For real.
Like, how can you know that little face, that little mustache?
So,
It's so sweet.
The push in the game, they did this scene like a billion times, and it never worked. And they were getting like really fed up with shooting it again and again. And Ashley Johnson just pushed him in this moment, and then they said cut, and she's like, I'm so sorry, I really didn't mean to do that, like, I was just frustrated today. And Troy goes, do it better next time, because that just made this whole scene.
Okay.
And then they redid it, added the push, making it part of it, and that's what's in the game.
That's so cool.
Like,
I love it. See, you say
the
you're not a
artistic
super fan, and
process.
you know this little,
It's
like,
neat,
these little
man.
bits of things.
it's so neat. Like, the way this story was crafted is so, it's such an amazing story. How can you not be like, how did you do this?
Yeah.
How the fuck did you come up with something like this? Because it's too good.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the big moment, I think, from this one for me. Then he basically decides, I'll take her.
I forgot, like, how this part happened, though, when we get to the end of this episode. Like,
Okay.
I remembered them getting to the university and it's all abandoned and stuff, but I did not remember how Joel comes to be injured.
That's the thing I was waiting for as well, and they don't do
Okay.
it at all. It's one of the greatest parts of the game. It probably would be almost impossible to recreate for the show. But the game is 10,000 times better, but also, I will agree, it's way more video gamey. Because they come to the place, it's abandoned, and these people are coming for supplies as well.
Uh-huh.
And they start to attack them. And while he's fighting with this one dude, they fall off a balcony and he lands on some rebar
Oof.
down on the bottom.
God.
And it stabs him through the side. But it's full. This is where Ellie is shown to be capable in the game. Whereas we've already been getting that in the show already. Like, we kind of didn't need that scene. We've already been establishing through all these woods moments and the traveling stuff. We've already shown her off to be capable. We kind of fast-tracked it, right? But that scene is so good. Because Joel is, like, stumbling. He can't even fucking walk.
Yeah.
And she, like, picks him up at one point, and he pushes her off and goes, I got it. She's like, so you're good? You can walk? And he's like, yeah. And she goes, then fucking walk! And then they continue, you know? Like, she fucking goes hard for him during that whole scene. And this is just... One dude showed up with a baseball bat, and he got hurt.
I love this whole scene where Pedro chokes him out, though. Like, watching him headbutt him, I was like, wow.
Man, Ellie was ready, though.
Yeah, she was.
God, he's so... See, that's Joel's thing, though. He's very brutal.
Yeah, he is. I like that they, like, kind of alluded to a little bit of brutality that we don't get to see in Joel. Like, when the Raiders, when they come up on those, he's like, Ellie's like, how'd you know it was a trap? And he's like, well, I used to do that. Like, that was me once upon a time.
That's the exact line in the game, too. Like... We never really get it. We only see his well, but in the game, you're killing way more people than you see in the show because it's a game. So of course you see more of the brutal side of him, you know?
Right.
Because there's tons of moments where like you just kill somebody and Ellie will just be like, "Jesus, Joel." I mean, she's aware that he's pretty hardcore. But dude, the game one, miles better.
Watching him fall off the horse, though, that hurts.
I was left a little, like, lackluster with this one.
This part made me sad because she like grabs his hands and covers the wound and then presses down the exact same way that he did to Sarah in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was like, parallels.
Show's good,
Her
man.
little hands on his face. Look at her and her big tears.
I know. So then... I was wondering how we do this one, and they did it pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't how I thought. So, episode 7 is called Left Behind, which is the name of the DLC.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And this one was written by Neil Druckmann.
Yes.
Because this is like, okay, DLC for games was not important. Nobody really cared about DLC. Then The Last of Us did that DLC, and people were like, holy fuck, like, DLC can be as good or better than the game itself.
Yeah, and then you get, like,
whoa.
the Heavy Rain DLC that got super intense and was... yeah. Like,
dude,
DLC started to become, like, more of a thing.
Last of Us, like, opened the door for that shit, because Left Behind is... It's fucking perfect. I love Left Behind.
Yeah.
But this is all backstory. So I was wondering how they do it, because in the game, it's very back and forth. Like, okay, go back in time, see some stuff, parallel how it's affecting her in the future. Go back in time, parallel to the future. Back in time, parallel to the future. But this is almost like all in the past. Let's just give you the backstory real quick.
Yeah, and I was happy for that. Like, I didn't want them to cut back and forth because it just takes you out of the moment. When you get to the past in this episode, you just live there, and it's very immersive.
So Riley is the best. I love Riley.
The actress who plays Riley was in that movie that I saw recently, Missing.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So I was like, where do I know this woman from? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you guys can't see this, of course, but I'm showing Kelsey one of the many Easter eggs in the show. On the keys, there's the Naughty Dog symbol.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
So that's fun. Let's see. So this one is just basically that whole DLC, and it is done like nothing's left out. Like, I thought they would like really fast track some stuff. I mean, they did. There's like a whole thing where you're like throwing bricks through a car window, and the first person to break all the windows wins. And it's like, kind of all the stuff they do. They do this really, really well. They do a lot of this so good. They change it up a little bit, which is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they go to the mall. They're gonna see like, you know, all this neat stuff. They got to turn on the power. I do have one thing for you about the power when it comes on.
Watching her play on the escalator for like 30 minutes, that was a joy.
I know. She's like, we're going to do 4 wonders. She's like, and this is one of them? Sure, 5 wonders. Why not? Okay, so this shot right here, you ready?
Uh-huh.
All the lights come on. The color scheme, top to bottom, is the lesbian flag colors.
Fuck yeah.
Right? Is that the flag
Amazing.
I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
So yeah, they clearly nod in here. You got that down to the purple. It's there.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
This show, guys, I'm speaking to you, whoever you are, that is trying to find a way this show does not have gay people in it.
Oh my god.
It so does. And the creators are putting things in it to let you know we are fully standing firm that these characters are who they are.
Yes.
Get over it, dude.
Get over it.
I'm sorry that, to quote Redditors and whoever around the world, Ellie's not fuckable anymore.
My god. The amount of people
Kelsey
that are
sent
like
me that. Yeah, you sent me that
disgusting.
post.
Yeah. It is despicable, the amount of people that are just like, I don't know, Ellie in this show is just like not as she's not, like pretty as she was in the game. I just she's different.
I'm sorry that you can't be as attracted to a 14-year-old girl, man.
For real. Like, sorry, a 14-year-old fictional lesbian isn't as attractive as you want her to be. Like,
Yeah. That's all I can say about that one. That one
yeah,
pissed me off.
big yikes for people that are mad about Ellie's appearance.
Yeah.
Bella Ramsey's stunning, by the way. Just
She's
to
amazing.
say, like, she is. I love her little smile. Her face lights up in such a beautiful
in that
way.
tuxedo at like a premiere for something.
Oh my god! Yes.
Melts me, man. Okay, so so Taylor wasn't as excited for this one as me because she's never seen the DLC before.
Oh man, really?
And yeah, so like I know this like really, really well because I love the DLC. I was like half crying most of this show,
Oh.
and Taylor's like, "Yeah, this one was good," and I was like, "We got to play the DLC." 'Cause
Yeah.
it's so good. Like the way she, God, dude, the way she looks. See, this is where I'm gonna cry. I love her and Riley, man.
They are really sweet together.
She looks at her all the time. Like you can tell, like these things are forming in her mind of like realizing, like I think I really like this person, you know.
Yeah.
Like she has these moments. This is like the other time she's ever been happy.
Yeah. This just like wonder and love in her eyes. She just encapsulates what it is to be a teenager, having your first crush. Like you can see it on her face.
You really can. It's disturbing to me how much a person can sell that in their eyes to you,
Yeah.
acting that, you know. I was gonna show you. So the photo booth is one of the big moments from the DLC.
So cute.
It's so good. It's just a super cute moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think my other little Easter egg is going to come later. But yeah, so they do this. I was wondering how they were going to do this because the game is a breathtaking moment. They play a game, and when they get to the arcade, it's broken.
Oh.
And she doesn't get to play it, but Riley goes, "Okay, close your eyes." And it just zooms in right on her face, so it's Ellie's face with her eyes closed, and that's the full screen. And it's Riley saying what's going on in the game, so it's just Ellie's imagination taking over. And as you go forward, the sound effects become more like it would be in the game, and then you start to hear that game really happening. The music kicks in, and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, she's really playing the game."
That's
and you're
so cool.
pressing the buttons and doing all the stuff that Riley says to do as she narrates the fight that you have. And then she's like, "How was playing the game?" And she was like, "That was magical." And she'd never even played anything. So I was wondering how they do it, but they really get to play Mortal Kombat, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Then you see the zombies up. They played this game for way too long. Look at
I know.
that fucking happy face. Look at this.
So much joy.
Oh my god!
You can tell she
buy
wants to
that
kiss her
tension,
so
man.
bad right there.
Oh my god! It's so good. So then right here, here's your other little Easter egg. This is in an Uncharted 4 Easter egg.
Oh.
They mention this restaurant that Elena worked at a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
It was called Macho Nacho, which is not a real fucking place. Well, it is here.
Okay.
So yeah, you get a Macho Nacho, which, by the way, Last of Us was first referenced in an Uncharted game.
Oh, interesting.
In Uncharted 3, in the opening level, there's a newspaper that you can find, and it's talking about a fungal infection going around or something.
Ooh, spooky.
And then Last of Us came out like 2 years later, so
That's so cool.
yeah. So then this is where she gets the joke book, but then you find out she works for the Fireflies, and she's building pipe bombs, and just all this stuff is going on. So this is how she gets... This is how I'm reading this. This is why Ellie's captured by the Fireflies that we see in the beginning of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Because
okay,
the
that makes sense.
Fireflies because remember, she goes, "Is this your outpost?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm stationed here until we leave." So the Fireflies know Riley's here, and when they probably come to get her to send her off the next day, they find her and Ellie left behind, and they're like, "Oh, you're infected.
Yeah.
We got to quarantine you." And that's why she's captured at the beginning of the show.
Right, that makes sense.
I don't think they do the water balloon thing or the water gun thing they do, but they did the Halloween store,
I love this.
which was one of the... Dude, these masks are in the game.
Yeah, like I remember that. They're just perfectly from the game.
They are so perfectly from the game. It's stupid because it makes me feel all the things. Like, I feel all of it. And then they dance, they're having fun. I was on such a roller coaster because Ellie goes from so, like, angry to happy to in love to sad to I'm pissed at you, but I fucking love you. So many and I was like, you girls are going to bust through that glass.
I know. I was so worried for their ankles.
Yeah, you're making me very nervous. And then they smooch. Oh, my goodness.
That was sweet.
I love them so much. I love them so much. Like, I cried a lot in the show. I'm not through this review, and I've got tears about that kiss, though, man.
Yeah.
Ellie's like just the tragic person.
I know.
She can't pull out a fucking nothing, dude. Everything good goes away. It's the fucking worst. Thankfully, they only had to deal with one zombie in the game. It's like a whole fuck ton. But come on. This scene where they find out that they got bit. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Horrible. The way that she screams here is just chilling. Oh my god.
Like, this is my Ellie, dude. I got zero qualms with this girl.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, she's not Ellie from the games for me, but like, for the two mediums, they are they are equal footing, man.
Yes.
I buy this girl completely. Then they did my line, man, because that is the line. We do the easy way out, or we sit here and be all poetic and shit and lose our minds together.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. And then that was pretty much it for this one. Dude, that Riley girl can act, man.
Yeah.
I can't fucking cry like that.
No.
I'm crying right now and I can't even cry like that. Then she's here with Joel, gets them all patched up. Life is good. Well, she sews them up, which, by the way, gross.
Yeah. Rough.
Very real. Then we got fucking 2 shows left, and I was like, what are we gonna do, man?
Yeah, we get into like the real shit here.
Yeah, now we're getting into
God.
fucking the religious shit. Which
Oh.
that's some great shit. It's always
Yeah.
good for making a bad guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm wiping these tears, man. I love Ellie and Riley, dude. Okay, I'm good.
You're
good,
emotional
man.
over the lesbians. I'm emotional
I
over the
love
gay
them,
men.
It's because it's Ellie and I love her from so much else.
Yeah.
That having that backstory is just a lot. But anyway, here's old Troy Baker.
Yeah. Just like randomly out of the blue. Like, hey, here's Troy Baker.
Here's Troy Baker. We're going to let him get killed in this show, which I thought was hilarious.
Yes.
So, okay. David, man.
Oh, David.
David in the games, played by Nolan North, Uncharted.
Yes.
There is a whole debate again. What is David's deal? And the show goes, here it is. Like, this show gives you all these answers that the game always left open from 10 fucking years ago.
Wow.
And the show's like, let's close that debate. Here it is. Because it was a huge debate. Was he a pedophile for Ellie?
Yeah, that's cleared up pretty
That is
definitively.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking horrible.
It's pretty gnarly.
Oh,
Like-
God.
All this is pretty much the same. I was glad they didn't make us do like the whole fight thing. They just fast-tracked all this. But they really show how bad he is to his people.
Yes.
Like, this dinner scene was
my God.
fucking wild.
Walks up and backhands the shit out of that girl.
And then goes, let's eat together, because I'm
Yep.
the master. Oh, dude. No.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Watching her
Needles.
inject the penicillin directly into his wound, not a good time.
I mean, I guess that's the best you can do, right?
I don't think so. She injects like a whole like syringe in there.
I mean, she
Way
probably
too
don't know
much.
how to do veins, you know?
Yeah.
But so this is all pretty much standard fare. We do all this. Taylor let out the biggest scream.
When the horse gets shot,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
think this is a stunt horse? Or you think this is like how did they do this scene?
It is a dummy horse.
Good.
Because that's in the behind the scenes.
Okay.
They were like, we know you want to know about the horse. Here you go.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Fuck.
totally like a fake horse that they just like tip forward and she flies off and stuff.
Okay.
That is kind of what happens in the game. They do shoot the horse. Tons of
Uh-huh.
horse sadness.
Yeah.
By the way, 2 episodes back when they're at Tommy's, they're all like, "Oh yeah, it's the new horses. We just had one that was born. You want to meet her?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, who's this?" And they're like, "This is Shimmer."
Mm-hmm.
That's Ellie's horse in part 2.
Oh, cool.
So I mean, there's you another, thing, dude. Her wonky eyes when she hit her head after this fall.
Oh man. She's all
Perfect.
fucked up.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, like that eye's completely crooked.
yeah.
Damn. They did one of my
God.
other favorite scenes from the game in here. It's Joel interrogating people about like where she's at.
Uh-huh. Oh fuck,
It's
dude.
the most that's brutal Joel.
That was hard.
It's the best. I love it.
Yeah,
so
Rich and I were
much.
both like screaming watching that. We're like, ah!
That is exactly how he does. That's
Gets the
exactly how he
knife in
does
his
it, man.
thigh. Pop your kneecap off. Fuck that.
Love Joel, dude. I love Joel. I fucking love him, man. That's exactly what
I
he
do.
does.
I love that Joel got to kill Joel. Like that was fun.
No, Ellie kills Joel.
Oh, that wasn't him that he killed in the basement?
No. Ellie hits him in the neck with the butcher knife when they were gonna eat her.
Oh, okay. All right.
But so they do my favorite part of the game. It's so good. I love that scene so much. I mean,
This guy is so fucked up and he's just like murdering just for fun basically at this point.
it's fucking Joel being Joel, man. Like, this is the brutal Joel that you heard about. Like, I've been on the other side of that truck and shit.
Yeah.
This is the stuff he did to survive. This is why Tommy hates him. Because
Yeah,
this
he's
is the
in
shit he
survival
did to
mode.
survive, you know?
Yeah.
And then they did my other moment, which is the all-time fucking best.
Yes.
I
Ellie
was-
like fakes out David here.
Yep. And I was like, hey, oh, she better say my line, dude. And she did, and she said it great. I loved it. So this is where she kicks the food in the game that they kind of did in
Yeah.
the first show. I was like, that's my girl. I'm into it.
I do like the whole metaphor here where he's like, what is cordyceps? Is it evil? Like, no, it just
No, it
is
just
trying
does.
to survive.
Yeah.
Spreading out, getting more people.
This guy, because I heard a thing one time about like how to be a villain in media.
Mhm.
Like, you have to basically find out how to believe what they're selling.
Yeah.
And that really fucks me up because I think about it with everybody that plays a villain now. And this guy did it. Like,
Yeah.
I think he really believes that. Like, it's just survival. Like, he found that point that this guy can't get past that makes him the evil thing,
Yeah.
I want to be a villain in a movie so bad. It just seems like it'd be super fun.
It does seem like it would be fun.
But man, like, I have to be as fucked up as this guy though, because he went hard.
Yeah, eating people. I hated it when Joel finds, like, when Joel's coming to the complex and he finds all those beheaded people hanging from the ceiling or whatever. Like, that is gross.
Yeah. And then her backpack's down there, so he's like, oh my God, you know?
Yes.
Yep, this is what I was waiting for as well. I was like, please break this fucking finger, dude. She does it. He beats her up. Oh, yeah, see?
I hate that he throws the C word at her.
He threw the C word. That's not in the game.
Yeah, that, like, gut punched me. I was like, oh.
He takes David so high on, like, the villain scale.
Yeah.
But then we get my line, man. Tell him, Ellie, it's the little girl that broke your fucking finger. That's
the way she's
pure Ellie.
Screaming it through, like, bloody teeth is so good.
Like, all right, so Joel doing the kneecap shit, that is essence of Joel.
Yeah.
This is essence of Ellie for me.
Yes.
That is those two people at their base core. She's getting it over on some dude, doing all that shit. This goes, like, way softer on, like, the back and forth of trying to do all this stuff. Because, like, Joel's, like, coming to the town, and she's going through all this, and you go back and forth between them in the game, really building that tension. Like,
yeah.
you gotta get there. Where is she at? Are we even doing this at the same time? You know?
Right.
But yeah, so there's Ellie killing old Troy Baker.
The way that he has horrible aim. Like,
all people have horrible aim. They suck.
He's 5 feet away from her, and she's running in a straight line. He misses twice.
Troy, so in the after credits for this one, the behind the scenes, he was like, yeah, I voice act. So I act like I'm stabbed. I act like I'm dead. And he's like, they hook you up to so much fake blood.
Oh my God.
He's like, it was really fun. He had a good time.
This whole scene.
Wild.
Yeah, where she lights the whole building on fire. This was very much like page for page from the game, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, this is a whole boss fight that is
Yeah, I remember this. You have to, like, throw bottles and distract him.
I
And...
fucking hate this boss fight.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. I don't like it. But then he starts just doing monologuing about fucking loving to hurt people. He's got the violence in him.
Yeah.
And they make him gnarly.
Yeah. He's not... I hate watching him kick her. God, this is horrible. Fucking horrible.
Oh, God. Her screams are intense.
I know.
And then, see? Right there.
The fighting is the part I like the most. Disgusting.
That's where they really sold him, man.
The last thing you want to hear.
Because then I'm pretty sure he, like... Doesn't he reach down?
Yes. Like, it's very clear what's happening here.
Yeah.
And Ellie, by the grace of God here, this is my favorite scene.
This is exactly what happens in the game, but cranked up to be harsher.
This scene is just like 60 seconds of Ellie hatcheting this man in the face.
Yep.
This is the picture of feminine rage. Like, this was cathartic to watch.
Jesus, Ellie.
Yeah, fuck him up, Ellie. Fuck his shit right up. And then seeing her, like, walk out into the snow immediately after this and just completely dazed and lost is so heartbreaking. And then Joel comes up out of nowhere and she almost kills him too.
Like, I didn't know that we would get this moment, but then they did it. Because this is Joel fully accepting this is my new daughter.
Yeah. I have adopted you now.
When he drops the baby girl, man.
Yes.
Like, he drops the baby girl. This is mine now.
Yep.
This is mine now. Nobody can have this. And it's good, man.
Yeah.
Because, see, Ellie screams pretty hardcore in the game. But, like, I'm telling you, Bella just ramps everything up.
Yeah.
She ramps it all up, man.
She's very intense.
And then we get the fucking finale, man. The last one, which is the shortest episode.
Oh, my God. But the opening, my God, they killed it with this opening. This was the best. This is so good. Another cold open, right?
Cold open. I need to see if people are mad.
About what?
Because it basically explains Ellie's immunity.
Yeah, that's what I was happy for.
But nobody wants it. That's the problem.
Why?
Like, people love the mystery.
I don't want the mystery
You
of
know
that.
how
Like, I've
when
always
there's been a
wanted to
mystery
know.
of things, people have what they've thought of, and if they finally
Yeah.
get it, they hate it now.
I guess, but like,
And
I thought
I've
that
heard
this was
that people are
handled.
like iffy, but I need more concrete. Are people upset? Because I loved it too.
Yeah, I thought this was handled perfectly. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Because she, like, gets bit as she's giving birth in this most incredible way. And we
Yeah.
say she. This is Ellie from the games, which I was, like, amazed.
Which I
This
hate
is-
because
Ugh.
she speaks and it's just Ellie in my brain.
I know. I was so happy to see that they were able to tie Ashley Johnson into this somehow because she is, like, a great actress. And
But dude, did
seeing-
they tie her in good?
it's perfection. Like, it makes so much sense for her to be Ellie's mom
Oh,
because
yeah.
she is the mother of this character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just perfect.
So actually, actually, I learned about, because it's not even in the show, which is what's wild about this. When you take control of Ellie for the first time in the game, there's a note to her from her mom that you can read.
Oh,
And Ashley Johnson hand wrote that letter and kept it
Oh my
in her
God.
pocket during all of this filming. And she felt like that was like a bigger, like it really tied her to the moment and the game and all that shit. That note's not in the show,
man,
but it is in the show. You know what I mean?
that's so cool. Yeah,
That is neat. That's fucking nifty.
I really hate watching a pregnant woman struggle with a zombie. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Horrible.
I hate how like people get bit and don't know like. At
I mean,
what
the
point,
adrenaline.
But at
in
what
the
point was
moment.
her face near you enough to do it? Because I just saw snapping in your face. Where'd you get
I
it down
know.
here? You know.
Well, she got it on her thigh, which, like, of all places,
I hate that the strength of pushing her off just made you just squeeze out a baby.
have that baby. Yeah, terrible.
Like, see, where, when, how,
When? How? Why on the thigh? Like,
and then come on, yoink. I mean, so what? Ellie's connected to her mom for 10 seconds total post
Yeah.
fight. You know.
and she cuts that umbilical cord with the knife that killed the zombie. So, like, it's either the bite that
Oh,
did
that
it or
too.
the knife that did it. Combination thereof.
So yeah, I didn't even put that together. That's a good one. I like
Yeah.
that. I hated this.
I was just crying so hard. This
I was
baby
like,
is
it
so
was
new
so
and
good.
fresh.
Yeah, I know.
Like a real new baby covered in Vaseline or whatever.
So then we do the opening, and then we complete the cold open, which is unique.
Yes.
You know, so you kind of
Yeah.
get that. You know, Ellie's mom and her were friends, so like that's how they're tied to get. Like she clearly knows who Ellie is growing up.
Yeah.
Like she knows this girl, but that doesn't mean Ellie knows her.
And this is another thing that got me because she's like giving her instructions like, you're going to kill me. Please take this
Oh, yeah.
baby. Her name is Ellie. Gave her this knife and she's of
So
age. Now
hardcore.
shoot me in the head, please.
Yeah, because you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
I mean, time is of the essence in this.
yeah.
Fucking here you go. But I mean, it was daylight,
Yeah.
so like, she's been
She's
there.
been in here for like
at
12
le-
hours.
Let's say at least 3, because let's say
Yeah.
it was getting towards the end of the day, and this is early at night.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say at minimum 3, at most. Yeah, you're looking at 8-10 hours.
And this fresh new baby has not eaten.
Oh yeah, because she was like, I was afraid to nurse her because
Yeah.
I bited. I love that she gives her the knife and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
But see, so this kind of took away some of the mystery as well, because when part 2 came out, there were trailers with a person that we'd never seen before, and the whole theory was, oh my god, this is Ellie's mom. Like we're gonna get the story of Ellie's
Oh.
mom and all this stuff, and then that wasn't the case at all. Like none of that's in that game. But it's a different world, games to
Yeah.
TV. We waited 7 years for answers from this.
Whoa.
Between 1 and 2, like we had 7 years to theorize, and this show's like, well, we're already past all that, and we need to get you set up because the next show's coming out in 2 years.
Yeah.
Can I just say the confidence in walking in there was intense.
The way she just like strides in there and blasts her friend right in the face. Like, man, couldn't you have tenderly said goodbye or something? I guess it just is a different person.
Yeah.
And speaking of different person, Ellie is hollow now. I feel so sad for her.
Oh yeah. They
She's been through
handled
so much.
all of this so good too. They do the great like fade out of the voice to end to like, Ellie, did you
Yeah.
fucking hear me? Nope. Then they do easily one of the most iconic scenes of all time in a game.
The giraffe scene.
To perfection.
Yeah.
You know, they do the giraffe, which, again, because I told you this once before, internet was pissed off because I can't believe they used a fucking fake giraffe. Look at how CG this fucking giraffe is. The giraffe and these two people are the only real things in this scene. All the vegetation, everything else is CG. The exact opposite of what people thought.
I mean, the giraffe does look a little woobly, to be fair. I think it's just because we're not used to seeing giraffes in human person time.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you see this snake tongue coming at you?
I mean, I've fed a giraffe like twice.
Yeah.
They're cute.
I like giraffes. They are cute. They look like, I don't know, alien dinosaurs.
Yeah, they do.
Their little head
Have you
thingies.
fucking seen how they just slam their heads against each other to fight and stuff? It's so
horrible.
evil.
Barbaric.
Then there's this whole thing. The internet made a meme about Pedro Pascal's thumb here. They were like, look at this 90-degree angle bend.
What a weird thumb.
If this show's been catching flack Game of Thrones style for like things in the background that like shouldn't have been there, like a Starbucks cup and stuff.
Oh my god, for real?
Yeah, they're finding stuff. I don't give a shit, man. I didn't give a shit when it was in Game of Thrones. I was like,
Yeah.
cool. I don't care.
It's fine. I don't care.
I'll try to find one of them for you later, but there's a dude. It just said like, hey, pretend to be busy, and one of the guys in the background of the shot for when they first come in to Jackson, it's a dude shoveling firewood.
Okay.
And he's just moving it around the same pile. It's real weird, but it's funny. This is not in the game. This is huge.
I didn't think this was in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, Joel tells her this story about how like I tried to kill myself.
Yeah, like the day after the apocalypse started because he'd lost Sarah and he'd lost everything.
Yeah. So the scar that you've asked me about the entire fucking show is a failed suicide attempt.
Yeah.
But I love you now, so now I don't want to do that. And she's like,
Right.
oh, fuck, that's deep.
I know. Time heals all wounds. It wasn't time.
Yeah, it's a good character moment.
Yeah.
Look at that realization on her face, man.
I know.
I love it. And then, oh, God. So I was like, how are we going to do this? Because I almost drowned because Ellie can't swim.
Oh my god.
And that's how they get into the hospital, because she almost drowns, and then the people show up and take them both in. And so I'm sitting there like, when's that gonna happen? What's going on? Oh, we're just telling jokes. This is great. And I'm sitting there, and then I go, people, people. And then I fucking threw that thing, and I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So then they get taken in, and then we pretty much go straight up game again.
Yeah, and then you have like 20 minutes, and
There's like,
I was at this point. I was like, how are there 20 minutes left in the show?
yeah, I was like, there's so much left.
I know. So the
much has to
hospital scene
happen.
is really so brief. It's just like a man on a mission. Like Joel is like, I realize now this is my daughter, and I will go get her, and we will leave.
I thought this went super John Wick.
Yeah, fully.
Like, he just is a John Wick machine during this scene. Just like,
Yes.
doesn't matter. You miss me entirely, and I always hit you. You know?
The way he walks into the surgeon and is just like, give me the girl. And he's like, we can't do that. And then he just puts one between his eyes. Like, no hesitation whatsoever.
This is also one of my favorite parts. When he beats up the guys, and then he's like, where's the girl? It's a little bit different here. Because, all right, dude, in that game, I love my Joel, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's got him pressed up with his arm against his neck, holding him to the wall with a pistol in his gut, and he shoots him once and goes, where is she? And then he goes, I don't have time for this. Just bop, bop, and then just like two more.
Oh my God.
And then the guy like starts slumping down, top floor, whatever, and then he fucking goes on a rampage. Joel's a beast. He is not nice. Before we get into the end, we find out it's on the brainstem, all that shit.
Uh-huh.
What's your thought process? Where are you at in this moment? Because I remember playing the game, and I said, okay, where do I go get her?
Yeah.
I question this 0%, and I've been told that makes me a bad person, that I did not even question this.
Objectively, Joel is wrong because, like, if there is even a chance that she could be the cure for the apocalypse, like, why wouldn't you want to cure the apocalypse?
True. I told Taylor this, and she kind of gasped and didn't talk to me for a day.
It's the trolley car problem. Like, the trolley is going to hit
Yeah.
5 people. You can divert it and kill one person. But,
Yeah.
you know, do you do that?
But,
because then blood is on your hands.
Well, I told her I didn't even consider that other option till it was already done. Like, I never once thought about it. I said, no, I'm going to go get her. That's it. I never once questioned it. I'd never once thought about it. And then it was like after I'd beaten the game and was reading like what people thought about it, that got brought up. And I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, I guess.
The whole debate
didn't consider that.
The whole debate's come back around on Twitter now of like the whole is Joel right thing.
No.
There's definitely 2 ways about it. But objectively, like, no.
Joel's wrong. He
Joel's
is
wrong.
the bad guy of the story.
Yeah.
100%. And I stand by him 100%.
And I think we're going to explore that even more in season 2 of the show. We're going to see exactly how wrong he is because of how Ellie has to deal with all of this fallout.
Yeah. Well, so now it's been so long, people have formed like, you know, like more valid, well thought out arguments for it.
Yeah.
I mean, of course you can do the whole like it's fungal. You can't cure fungus. Like,
right.
There is no cure for fungal stuff, right?
I guess.
Then somebody said this one that really fucked my brain up. They were like, you're going to tell me that if the Fireflies got this cure, they wouldn't use it for power. You really think they would just pass it out to everybody?
Yeah,
they would use it. They would use it as a political power.
They would.
As a political strategy, rise up, and then probably pick and choose or sell it. They're not just doing this for the good of mankind. It sounds that way. But that's how it sounded when the guy invented insulin, and then he gave it away for free, and it became monetized.
Yeah.
So now there's this whole debate on, like, even if he did it, does the world get better? Does the world even get cured? Only the elite will have this cure. And I was like, yeah, fuck that.
Fuck that.
But you didn't really answer. Did you have a conundrum? Did you have a quarry in your mind?
I mean, no, because I know how the story ends. So, like, I was just along for the ride.
I mean, I like remember deep down in my gut, I was like, where's this girl? I'm going to go get her. I never once was like, should I?
Yeah.
Look at how slow this walk is. Just like
I know.
Precise death machine.
Deliberate. Yeah.
So
this whole hospital scene was
pretty fast.
Yeah, it was very fast.
Okay, so actually,
more of a montage.
I need to check this out again. Okay, they do get away. All right, dude.
What?
So this person right here.
Uh-huh.
Turns this corner and runs. I'll get your opinion. You can tell me what you think. So right here, boom, this person. They run away. There's like a little little swoosh on the back of the head there, right? People believe that is Abby from part 2 escaping.
Oh.
And I said, no, it's not, because he killed that person down the hallway. And I'm watching this right now. No, he did not. That person kept running and got away.
Yeah.
So that very well could be Abby for season 2.
I mean, I suppose. She's the daughter of the doctor, right?
Yeah.
And she's about Ellie's age? Because that person looked full grown.
See, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that looks like a grown man to me.
That does look like a grown man. Like, but Abby looks like a grown man. She is buff as shit, dude. The only reason is that swoosh. Like, see that little kind of a ponytail?
The, like, tail? That looks like just a
I thought
backpack
it was like part of the jacket
or something. Yeah.
That's what I thought. But
I think people are reaching.
I thought I'd throw it out there because that is a big thing. I'm not on board with it. Because also, I'm pretty sure in the part 2, she's not around at the hospital when this happens. She just comes into the aftermath later.
Right.
But whatever. So yeah, we kill everybody. Gets the best gun in the game for the last 2 minutes of the game, which was stupid.
Uh-huh.
I hated that. And then we get the iconic hallway. And then boom, man. Here we go. So You
I like
didn't.
how the surgeon is just like, let me get this scalpel to defend myself in this gunfight.
So you didn't play it,
Uh-huh.
but I'll also throw this out here for you.
Well, I did play it.
Did you play it? No, like, did you play it?
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
I thought you watched Richard play it.
No, we played it together. So, like, if there was a fight I couldn't get past, I'd be like, this is yours.
Okay,
But-
so did you play this scene where you kill the doctor?
But fuck if I remember.
I would like to know, because there are people that have not finished this game to this day because they morally cannot pull the trigger on this doctor.
I mean, he did kill, like, the last brain surgeon on Earth.
Yeah, and you know what I did when I played the game?
Instantly killed him.
I did this right here. I
Yeah.
walked right in, he grabbed a scalpel, and I said, move! That easy. Have I killed the nurses? Yes, I've done that before too.
My God.
You don't have to, though. Like, you can just have done the doctor and then press the button to move on. And then that's Laura Bailey, who
It
plays
is.
Abby, which is fun.
Yeah.
Which is messed up. There's a tweet where she, like, is, like, standing over the dead doctor's body, and she's all like, just me hanging out with Dad, or something. Voice actors are funny, dude.
I know.
They're a weird breed. So then we get where he picks her up. There's really no escaping. He
He
picks
just
her
like
up and
calmly
leaves.
goes down into the parking garage and takes a free escalator or whatever.
Because you have to, like, run away from other Firefly people in a crazy hectic scene, like being chased by random people in the chaos of the outbreak at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's a bigger parallel.
Mm-hmm. This is way more calm.
And it's way calmer.
And but you do have this whole scene of like somebody's pointing a gun at you and you're cradling a small woman in your hands.
Yeah. I like that they did kind of give us the little fake out moment again. Like, you can still leave her here. And then
Yeah.
it's him in a car. And then you just hear her and you're like, okay. Oh, he does have her. So what happened?
Yeah. The old gun under the skirt trick.
Which I love that Marlene is actually Marlene from the game as well. Like,
Oh, is she?
all the people from the game play somebody else. That's Marlene from the game.
Nice. Okay.
There's just nobody else. I mean, she is this person.
Yeah.
So they just cast her. And she even looks perfect still. Like,
Yeah.
she's the same person.
Did they kill Marlene in the game?
This exact same way.
Okay.
Which, this one was a cutscene, so it didn't feel as guilty.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's tough, dude. The fact that she's like, you can leave me alone. You can forget about me. You just come for her.
Mm-hmm.
Blah. I mean, this is Joel at his hardest. No hesitation. No nothing.
No hesitation.
And then, of course, the lie. The greatest lie ever told in games.
Yeah.
Where he
Which
says,
again,
you know,
Joel's not right. He's not a good person. This is just lying
Yeah.
to a child.
oh, there were tons of people, dozens like you, but
Yeah.
they've never
invents
found
this whole
anything.
story.
So what was the point, right? What was the
Mhm.
point, little girl? And then you get the ending from the game, which is really good, where she tells her story about Riley, which in the show we've gotten to see, which is cool. Because
Yeah.
in the game, we don't know that. We haven't seen that
Right.
stuff. So you're just like, man, what happened to this little girl? You know? And,
But it ended exactly like the game ended, right? Like
oh, yeah.
beat for beat.
Yep. Swear that everything you said is true. I
Okay.
swear. Okay. I found it. So actually, they had like a whole scene past this, and they filmed it, everything. And Craig was like,
oh.
"No, it
Gotta
has to
end
be
it
the
there.
same. It has to be the exact same."
Yeah.
And then it was, and it was great,
Excellent show.
phenomenal show. So
Yeah, my final rating for it. I mean, were there things that I would change? Probably not, honestly.
yeah,
I think I'd give it a 10 out of 10.
it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know why it's a 10 out of 10?
Why?
Bill and Frank.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's it. Like, that's the thing that makes the show truly stand out even more.
Yeah. If you guys have watched the show and want to write in and let us know how much you cried, tell us, please.
I don't want to dig too much into part 2 because I don't know that a lot of people intook part 2. I know you guys could go read it or whatever, but if you wanted to just experience it with the show, I'm not going to say anything about it.
Yeah.
I have my thoughts. I will say I am a Last of Us Part 2 apologist. I truly, thoroughly love that game. I think it did exactly what it was meant to do.
Yeah.
I fully stand by it. I love that game. It is.
Richard wants to play it now
Great.
because he has not played it. And when we finish that, he's like, I want to play part 2.
I'd be curious because that game is straight up 50-50, and that's why
Yeah.
I think the show is getting you prepped to try to make sure 50% of the people that watch this don't immediately drop it from episode 1,
Yeah.
because I still think that's going to happen.
I hope not.
People are not going to like what happens in part 2. People don't like it. But that's the crux of the whole thing, though.
I think we're going to be able to like play it better in part 2 because you play the game like all of Ellie and then all of Abby, and the show is going to be able to show you like Ellie, Abby, Ellie, Abby, Ellie, Abby.
No, so most people think they're going to do season 2 Ellie, season 3 Abby.
Oh man.
Like part 2 is going to be split because they've already ordered us a season 2 and 3.
Oh, have they? Okay.
And they've said we're doing Last of Us Part 2, so kind of naturally we're probably going to just split it out.
Fuck. Okay.
So we might do a whole season of Abby.
All right.
But to me, then, the end of her season, we have to do where then it mixes back up again.
Yeah.
Because it's you play Ellie, you play Abby up to the moment you stopped Ellie, and then you do the converging, then you do Ellie again till the end.
Yeah.
I want to replay part 2 again so bad.
That's going to be an interesting way to
I,
film.
guess what? Full trust in Craig Mazin. I have no qualms. I have no wonderings. I am just going to wait until it's on my TV, and I don't care. I fully am ready.
He is amazing.
I am ready.
Are you ready to get out of this show?
I am ready to save that little girl. Yeah, I mean, ready to save this little girl. Hopefully you guys like this one. It was honestly beefier than expected.
Yeah.
But it's the fucking Last of Us, dude. And apparently I'm a super fan, so how was I going to let it be shorter? I would love to have you guys come to the Discord, chit-chat with us about it. Please don't spoil part 2 for yourself. If you don't want to play the games, don't look anything up. Just let the show take you for a ride because it's probably going to be unique and interesting.
Yes, fully.
So, yeah, man. I'm glad you loved it. I didn't have a doubt.
Yes.
I knew it.
Thank you for going on this journey with us. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Later, guys.
Bye.
But we had one more important sound we wanted you to hear.
Do we even do, like, the intro song?
I think we do. I think we have to.
I think we have to as well.
Legally to be YMBToAP.
That's true.